morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to the latest episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. The podcast where this week we're talking about games and gamers. And yes, I'm your co-host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante on all the places we communicate. That's your Xbox, your PlayStation. It would be your Nintendo, but that requires a social security number, so we're not going to talk about that. And I am joined, right under the radar, mind you, by my brother from another mother. He is called by many names. I call him the slanderous one, Mr. Everborn Saga. Good morning, sir. Microphone check 1 2.
What's happening?
You gotta crank your mic up just a tad.
We'll get it there. You know it gets a little cranky.
It likes to settle, right?
The Elgato situation. You know how that goes. We'll make this work.
What were you saying, sir?
Oh no! I see we might have our mortal enemy here, the Nintendo fan.
Oh, here we go. It's gonna be one of those things, man. Yes. So okay.
Blood feuds run forever.
It's been going. So before we get started, let me introduce my guest. He is a returning champion on this here program. Like I said, we're talking about games and gamers. We've had a lot of showcases. The most recent one of note that I think is worth talking about is the Nintendo showcase. And of course, if we're talking about the Nintendo showcase, we must bring on one of the most prolific voices in that Nintendo community. Some people call him the Nintendon. He is just known as Don Otaku. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program. How you doing?
What up, K. Asante? What up, Everborn? Appreciate y'all having me on the show. You know, I mean, I don't even see me and Sega as like a blood feud because y'all been out the picture for a while. So like I don't even look at it like that. You know,
the North remembers is all I gotta say.
It's gonna be one of those shows. See, and we were talking
for our time to strike.
We were talking in the background, and he's just like blood feud. I'm like blood feud, and then I remembered, oh yeah, Nintendo. But I mean, that was so long ago, man. Y'all were just children. Y'all barely had like hair on your chins at that time. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was a fun little war on the playground back then. But only one of them lived to tell the tale. Now the other one is putting their games on my console.
Oh yeah. Man, this is gonna be messy, bro. Okay,
it's easy to be magnanimous when you still got a console. I understand.
So okay, welcome one and all. We appreciate you being here. We see the numbers are swelling already. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Please consider subscribing if you are new here. We love our subscribers. We love our members who Everborn Saga will read one by one right now.
All right, let's start with Xbox Expansion Pass, Deadly Headley, The Gamepad Guru, That Blue Number, Derek Johnson, Big Poppy Senpai, Ozzy Fan 80, It's Timmy V2, Roshan Eppinger, Zach Riley, L. Paul, Leonard Herrera, Chris Coleman, Zay429, JB1521, Risk It for the Biscuit, Sith Lord, Infinite Umbra, Isaac Hayes 85, Torino Johnson, Andy B. Drumming, Focus Active, King Webb, Drake Williams, not to be confused with Aubrey, or maybe XBX Lord Chaos 78, Punty 050, Tim Purr 21, The Black John, Guess Who 107, Dave Ramos, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Brap, Slow Mo Backslap, JD Gamer, Neo Mental, the one and only Pixelbit G, Big Bad Mo, our brother John Wolf, Hargeet Shani, J Mac, Gray Beards of Gaming, we know you, sir, Mr. MJ Dark, DLJ Plays, Captain Chats, Adidas 20, Kingsley Justine, AJ Allen, Hug Awe, A Rodimus, Tenant Gaming, Fred Giriun, Ballantone, And that's the last one, Balance, because now we're back at Xbox Expansion Pass. Thank you, everybody.
So much. We thank you, and I will update that list. There may be some that have jumped in since then. We appreciate y'all for continuing to support the channel. We appreciate y'all for continuing to push the channel and help us grow. Speaking of that, you can now also catch some of our musings on thegamingcircle.com. Yes, that's right, thegamingcircle.com, which is the new website that we put together, which it's not really new. It's been in the background for some time now, but now I'm putting a little bit more attention and more energy into it. I actually wrote I've been writing a little article here and there to try and get some more attention on the site. To my understanding, Mr. Everborn Saga and the one John Wolf will also be contributing. So for now, it's just it's a fledgling site where I think we're going to aggregate our content, maybe do some interesting writings as well. So if you have a chance to check it out.
I'm trying to convince Mr. K. Asante to let me have a conspiracy corner.
Hey,
where
man.
We just do the conspiracy theories, but you know,
maybe have a tinfoil hat in the corner like this. I'm just saying, it's a thing. Well, yeah. Oh, forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Like we could make it a thing. No, I appreciate everyone being here, and yes, check out the channel, check out the website. We'll be adding more and more to it. And while you're at it, why don't you decide to join our Discord? We don't have as many crying sessions in the Discord as we used to. But yes, it's always fun.
But there are still some, especially when we start talking about handheld batteries. But
Lord,
we'll get there. Shout out to Lucian.
Okay. Yes. Y'all need to calm down. And of course, not to be outdone, Paris in the chat. Good morning, sir. He says the real conspiracy is Everborn thinking Sonic is on the level of Mario.
Yes.
Ooh, getting roasted in the morning. It is.
Yeah, he's you're right. They're not on the same level. Sonic's on a higher level. That's fine. I understand. I get it.
My goodness. All right. Well, before we get started,
no. One more thing before we start. Yes? You'll notice the subheading if you're watching this on YouTube. It is official. The Everborn Saga will be at New York Comic Con 24 this year. That is October, I think 17th through the 21st, but don't quote me on that, but it is October. We will be on the main floor, booth 2039. So if you are in New York, if you want to check that out, I will be there signing copies and telling everybody about what we got
kissing
going
babies
on.
and shaking hands and all of that, right?
All that jazz. All the politics.
All that jazz. Salute to 108 Dragons TV, brother. How you doing?
We know Dragons is there every year, so
yes, sir.
I will see you out there, sir.
I actually have a copy of
the Everborn Saga.
not Everborn Saga, but not Ariel's Adventure.
Is it the Redlands or Prince of Arcadia?
I was thinking the Badlands for some reason, but yes, the Redlands. And then if I was in the New York area, I definitely want to go there, get my copy signed. That one. Yeah, I'm waiting for the next chapter.
We're actually working on chapter 2 of that right now. We got some pages in already, and Ariel's Adventure is done, and we are trying to work out the timing of the Kickstarter to launch it, because we don't do our Kickstarters until after the book is done, because we don't want any risk on the backers or whatever. So as soon as we can line that up, we will be releasing that, but I'm hoping to have the first prints available at the show. So that'll be the first time people can actually get chapter 2 for Ariel's Adventure.
All right. Well, let me catch up on some super chats and we'll get into the show proper. First and foremost, the great J Mac is in here, member for 5 months. Salute to you, good sir. I actually had a nice a play session with that man. We played Gears of War, where and that's actually a story we're going to talk about. Everyone's rekindled that Gears of War fire, so he and I jumped in on a co-op session on Ultimate Edition. He says, being a member for 5 months, he says PlayStation may not have games, but their narrative control is second to none. All it took was 2 weeks on 2 weeks on Xbox, dudes. We're back to gloom and doom, sir. You are prolific. We are talking about that today. We will talk about that. Salute to you.
Yeah, I got some words for the Xbox community when we get to that subject, because you guys fall for the banana and the tailpipe every damn time.
The okie doke, they say. The okie doke. Sith Lord, member for 2 months. Thank you so much, very, very much, sir. And always a great promoter of our show, always letting folks know we're we're here. We appreciate you, Sith Lord. Thank you.
Yes,
He says Sonic.
Sith Lord.
That's right. So he says Sonic cancels rewards.
Sony cancels rewards.
Sony.
Look at you.
See,
look at this Freudian slip.
Sony cancels rewards, VR, and games. What to cancel next? We shall see. We shall see. I don't know about canceling. There might be other shoes that drop, but I'll leave that one to the announcements. Yes, sir.
Speaking of VR. The version 66 for the Quest came out last night. Or I mean,
I've been waiting for it.
I've been checking every day to see, because I put it on auto update. I checked it. It had 66 this morning. So a lot of the distortion in your hand when you're doing pass through is gone, and the pass through is a lot less grainy. And it feels like the latency is less. So what I did, like 15 minutes before this show, I just walked around the house wearing that, looking like an idiot. You got to see the way my wife looks.
I do it all the time. I always do it. I walk around the house with
but we're just having a conversation, and I'm just wearing it like it's glasses.
I'm reading my phone. I'm like taking a drink. The whole thing.
I'm hanging up like clothes in the closet. It was a whole thing. So I feel like, I don't know what sort of secret sauce they're doing in the software, but like that pass-through experience is strikingly close to what you have on the Apple whatever.
The Apple what? You mean that the Apple not gonna make another one? We'll talk about that one too.
Listen, sorry, Paris. But the thing is, this is a $500 device versus a $3,500 device, and so the idea that they could come this close with the pass-through is like,
that tells you software is everything.
It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So V66 is the real deal, I'll say.
Absolutely.
Just for
I will check it out.
least, that's all I tried.
I haven't loaded mine up in I think 2-3 days. I will definitely make sure I get that update after the show. To continue, MJ Dark, great member of the community, been a member for 5 months. He says Everborn is going to bring a copy of Mario Wonder for you to sign. Nintendo is the best place to play and Gen 10 console. Road to PS2 record near. Oh God, why are we here today with all of this capping? Like, what is going on? Lord help me.
But if Nintendo is the best, sir, why do you have 35 PC handhelds?
Oh, do not disrespect Latin quarters, sir. Do not disrespect the handheld king.
It's just a question, sir.
Do not disrespect the handheld king. Infinite Umbra, the great Infinite Umbra, my soulful brother, Mr. Infinite Umbra, member for 2 months. He says, Morning Brothers, Sonic would beat Mario's ass if they had a one-on-one, Don.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Some folks ain't ready for that conversation.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
We have very good authority when it comes to Death Battle. That they did a Mario versus Sonic, and I'm pretty sure Mario came out on top. I take Death Battle as very good evidence and like at least 99% accurate,
scientifically accurate.
Scientifically accurate. You can't argue with science. I think Mario got it.
Okay. First of all, Death Battles is fan fiction, and so it is not canon, and we cannot go by that, sir.
Indeed. Okay. Well, you know what? We will start this thing like we always do, and I will start with my guest, Don, sir. What has been keeping you busy this week? What games have you been playing?
Oh yeah, so true to my Nintendo name, been on Paper Mario, trying to get that finished up, the Thousand Year Door remake.
Okay.
This is
How is that remake, by the way? How is that remake?
So I'm a fraud because this is the one Paper Mario game that I have not played. During the GameCube, I went through my Nintendo is for kids phase at that time. So I really don't have that much like a lot of GameCube games outside of like Metroid Prime. I had no.
So what you're saying is during the GameCube days, you realized the truth, and then later on you came back to I'm a child at heart and kept it moving. I get you. Continue.
Yeah.
But GameCube had Eternal Darkness, right?
Oh yeah, so I had a GameCube. I played like the Resident Evil 4, of course, Eternal Darkness, Metro Prime 4. but outside of like Super Mario Sunshine and Smash Bros and Mario Kart, I didn't get to any of like this. There was a lot of gaps in my history, so this is actually my first time playing it, and yeah, I see why a lot of people want Paper Mario to go back to this, because I've played newer Paper Marios and I'm like, oh yeah, these are good. These are good games. But after playing this one, I'm like, okay, now I see why so many people have an issue with where the series went, because this game is on another level compared to those. As a turn-based RPG, the even the storytelling, which is weird to even talk about in a Mario game, somehow they have like very good writing. The characters are actually unique, because I believe sometime after this game came out, Miyamoto kind of set some rules. He was like, yeah, you can't make unique Yoshis and Goombas and Bob-ombs anymore with distinct names and stuff like that. So a lot of that is missing with the new Paper Mario games. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this game. It's been really good so far.
So real quick, before we continue on, I hear that and I know you watched all of the showcases as well. Expedition 33, I hear, borrows a lot of the fighting mechanics of Paper Mario. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah. So the
like active turn-based combat. Yeah.
Let's see. I want to say Paper Mario was one of the first with like the reactive turn-based combat, where you have to time your button presses to do extra damage. Legend of Dragoon on the PS1 was also one that was like the first thought that I had. I was like, oh, this is like Legend of Dragoon with the time button presses. But yeah, Expedition 33 was definitely one of the standouts that I'm looking forward to as well in the Xbox showcase.
Excellent. So anything else you've been playing, sir?
So besides that, I have my staples: Rocket League, Fortnite, X Defiant. Those are my 3 live servers right now.
Okay.
But I actually went through that Steam Next Fest and played a ton of demos. One in particular, Aerial GP, and that is an F-Zero kind of clone.
An F-Zero like?
Yes, an F-Zero like, but it's one of the few that actually like really captures what F-Zero should feel like. And they do an excellent job of getting that feel of F-Zero. Played a few races, died. I was like, yes, died multiple times. I was like, yes, this is F-Zero to the core, because I can't even complete the course without dying or flying off the stage. Had a lot of fun with that. There was Fera. I forgot the subtitle, but it's Fera. And that one was shown off at one of the indie showcases that Xbox did. And I believe it's coming to Game Pass. But played the demo for that. And it's a survival game with really unique and really fun traversal mechanics, where you have this glider that you can basically just like fly across the map with that glider, but you also have this grapple hook that you're just like going between the grapple hook and the glider, and the traversal mechanics. Yeah, the traversal mechanics are really fun. That's like the best part of the game. As far as survival games go, it has a unique twist, because instead of, you go out, you chop down a tree and you pick up the wood and then you have it in your inventory. Whenever you like chop down a tree, you kill a beast, and then they drop their like bones and everything. You actually don't pick it up and put it in your inventory. You don't have an inventory to keep things. You can pick it up with your hands, but that's it. And so when I was playing the game, I was like, I'm trying to pick up. I killed one of the monsters and I got its parts. I'm like, how do I take this? Like, how do I get this back to the base? Because I can't just pick up everything one by one. So they basically make you open up a portal, and then the people. So you're like the chief of a village, and then your villagers will come and grab everything from the portal and bring it back to the base. And
that's cool.
Yeah, so every time you're like, okay, I'm getting all these resources, you just drop the portal here, and then you'll just see your villagers come through, pick up the stuff, and start bringing it back to the base. So that's a really cool mechanic. And then, like, even when it comes to crafting and everything, your villagers do everything. So it's kind of like Pal World without the whole like slavery type of mechanic in it.
Without the slavery Pokemon stuff. I get you.
Yeah, so like you don't do anything. The villagers, they basically craft, they get the materials.
That's
you just
a cool
go out.
idea.
Yeah, like
that's one thing I hate about crafting games, right? All the mishigas of crafting. But maybe you go out, you conquer, and then let the villagers take care of all the nitty gritty. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Hey, what game is on the screen right now?
This is what he's talking about, Fera.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Fera, the Sundered lands.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yes, this is what he's talking about. This is cool.
No,
the graphics look great
the
too.
Sundered tribes. That's what it is.
It's like they got to Everwild before Everwild.
Yes, sir. Yes.
No,
this is great. So is this still available through Next Fest? I might want to try this. I didn't get a chance to try it yet.
Yeah, it wasn't a timed one, so it's still available. At least I still see the play button on my Steam right now.
Yeah, I may install this thing because this looks great.
Yeah, it's a little janky. It's a demo, so I'm forgiving of it, but there's some jank to it. But if they can get that polished, I think this will be a good hit, and especially I want to say it was announced for Game Pass.
Yes, this is Game Pass footage.
Okay, yeah,
this is for Game Pass.
Yeah, that was at the indie showcase that Xbox did. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Very cool. Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Those were definitely the two highlights of what I played. I played one that you played as well. I'm gonna let you talk about it though.
Okay. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, how about you? Any new games keeping you busy? Are you going back to your what do they call it? The Elden Lordness. Are you going back to
Okay, so let me talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As you all know, I've started the CEG movement, which is the Console Experience Gamer, where we connect our PCs to our big TVs in the living rooms or bedrooms, and we play, uncompromised. And so,
except for having huge monster RGB rigs in there.
I built the cabinets around it. It works. It's hidden.
Don't worry about all that. No, don't worry about that.
That's a discussion for a different day, sir. The point is, I use it with big picture mode, and obviously the best controller, an Xbox controller.
There you go.
And I play it. I use the PC like it's a console. There's nothing installed on it but gaming. But anyway, so Elden Ring, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I have about, I think, 150 hours in it. I've beaten every major boss in the game except for the chick with the arm. Yeah,
the one that's going to be the subject of the DLC. Yes,
is she?
Didn't I think so? Like, isn't that what's the subtitle for the DLC again? With her arm coming out of the big wood, the big
Shadows of the Air Tree.
Yeah. Oh, that raggedy, you know what? I hate her. But that's the only boss I haven't beat. The point is, Elden Lord, I've beat Mog. I can go directly into the DLC. I've done my job. I built a tank character with the great sword, fully maxed out. But no, Longhouse, I'm not too good for the camera. Every time I turn the camera on, it kicks me out. Like, literally kicks me out of the stream. I don't know what's going on.
Try it again. It's been a minute.
I'll try it before the end of the show. So
sure.
But anyway, I want to get the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, even though it took me 5 months to play through Elden Ring. I don't know that I want to do that again. However, Elden Ring is not cross play. There's no cross progression. right?
You got to roll a new character on PC.
I played the whole thing on the Xbox, but since I've done this move, my Xbox is now for the streets. But the streets, I mean the house, is for the kids. It's in the living room now.
Streets.
And the PC is what I'm primarily gaming on. And so if I want to play that, I'll either have to play the whole thing in the living room, which means I'm going to monopolize the living room for the next 6 months. Or I'm going to have to play it on the PC in the bedroom where I play it most of the time. If I do that, I'm going to have to start over. And I'm going to have to look that tree sentinel in the face again, who beat me the first time. And then my whole thing was a revenge arc to come back and beat the tree sentinel again. And now I'm going to have to look at him again, and he's going to be overpowered. And I just can't abide by that. So until From does the very basics that Larian already do, that CDPR already does, that Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda and Activision, even before they are acquired, unless they do all that, right? Move the console from the living room. No, but then I'm going to take it from the kids.
I mean, come on. You know that's BS. How many consoles you got, bro? You got more than one.
That is besides the point, sir. And so, and also, if you do not,
to lay it completely out, right? When he moves it to the bedroom, stop it. When he moves it to the bedroom where he
to lay it completely out when he moves it to the bedroom, and you telling me to stop it? You stop it, sir. It's Saturday morning.
Where he continues to use the same Xbox controller, it won't matter because it'll be on the same TV, but it's the whole principle
here's
of
the problem. Here's the problem. Today, on today's standards, if I can't go back and forth and play between handheld and the TV, whether it's console or not, then you don't really deserve my money. I want to give them my money, but I'm like, From can't do the basics and say cross progression. This is table stakes now.
People are giving you ideas, man. You can stream from the Xbox to the PC with zero lag. So, you can use a mod to get yourself back to the right level.
That is making up for what From should do. Why does everybody keep making excuses for From? I don't understand.
No, it's not that they're making excuses for From.
No, they're literally making excuses. Those are excuses.
What they're doing that I can see is they are trying to get you to play this game so we can hear you swear up a storm about how much you hate this game again.
They
want that entertainment.
That's absolutely fine. But From Software, it is not difficult to do cross save. You're a big company. If Larian can do it, if Ubisoft can do it, if Xbox Game Studios can do it, if Activision can do it, you can do cross progression. It is not that difficult. I'm sorry. I don't, it is what it is. So, and no, I'm not hiding from the game because I am an Elden Lord. Okay?
Stop fighting with the chat, sir.
I did the work.
Stop fighting with the chat.
Anyway.
I'm actually going through what Everborn is going through because I played Elden Ring on my PS5, and then I gave my PS5 to my brother. So I don't actually have access to it for most of the time. So I got it on PC, and just the thought of starting over, I'm like, man, I don't know if I really have it in me right now to just go through that again. But I do. I know how to use mods to level up to the point where I can just get through the at least the main content, and then get to the expansion and go from there.
No, right.
You have options, man. Mr. CEG, you got options.
But I do have options. But that one of those options should be that From Software does what they're supposed to do, and they keep doing these things that make no sense, and people keep making excuses for them, and the excuses
on that I won't
from Everborn today. Anyway, so now,
continue.
Aside from that, I have also been playing my own game because, as you know, I have revisited. Okay, you're an Elden Lord Fisher Price. Get you. Listen, that's fine.
Man.
That's fine. But let the work that I put in carry over. I'm not
roasting
starting over.
people. They roasted
All
people
right.
this morning.
So,
Damn.
so no. I understand. It's the From Defense Force. It's okay.
Oh man.
All right. So anyway, this all might be cope because I can't beat Melina. But that
hey,
if it is,
we all see it. We see it. We see what's going on. But continue.
So, but back to this. So as you guys know, I released, like, the whole Everborn universe is based on a game that I released, a 2D platformer that I released on the Windows Phone, and I have since sort of tried to build a sequel in Unity, completely starting from scratch. But I've been recently experimenting with Monogame, which allows you to port old XNA games multi-platform. And games that have used Monogame are things like Celeste and Streets of Rage 4.
Nice.
And I can't remember it right now, but a bunch of games that you like, high profile.
You probably know. Yes.
Yes. Right. Stardew Valley is also Monogame. So I've been playing with Monogame. Think of Unity, but without the editor where you can drag and drop stuff into the scene. It's all done through the code. So, but it does give you a lot more control, and the game feels, in terms of physics and everything, it feels more like what I originally envisioned, which was a love letter to the 16-bit era games. And so I have now gotten this thing to build. I'm adding controller support. It is running on PC. I have not figured out scaling yet. The old particle system is no longer supported, so I have to update that whole thing for the particle effects. But they're sort of all solvable problems. And so now, yes, I am a C# developer. And at work during the day and financial services, I'm a Java developer, but those things are very similar for those who play in that world. But anyway, all the problems that I've come across so far are very solvable. So we've got full controller support now. We're doing scene management. We are able to run PC builds. And so I'm just kind of knocking it out step by step.
So Everborn, I have one important question, sir.
Yes.
Just one important question.
When can you play it?
I have a Steam Deck in my hand.
I know.
I have an Elite controller right here. I don't have a game.
What's good, homie? As soon as I get it to a place where it won't crash on you, because there are certain things that are not supported.
Oh, because you know what gamers are like. Oh, yo, this is trash because it crashed on me.
Right. And so, but what I'm going to do is the game itself will be exactly the same. Currently, there are 20 levels and 5 bosses. We are going to, and that
so
is
you're
what
doing the
release.
HD collection. You're modernizing it.
No. Wait a minute. That's kind of true. So what I'm going to release in early access, when I can get it to not be broken, is the game that was released on the Windows Phone, which is the 20 levels, 5 bosses. The full game will be 60 levels and 6 bosses. And the whole thing will be redone in pixel art just to give it a more timeless feeling. So it will not only feel like a 16-bit era game, it will look like one, but in the best ways. Think Shredder's Revenge in terms of visual.
Excellent.
Things like that.
Excellent.
So that is what we're going for, and it will be released.
By the way, I saw
including the Switch.
So, look at you!
Mr. Don Otaku.
Thank you.
I saw you were asking, have you gotten any attention of any good pixel art developers? Pixel artists?
So here's the problem with that. I put out that call, and I got a lot of people that responded, and not one of the people that responded had any pixel art in their bio. It's just like graphic designer, designer. I'm interested. Message me, but I'm like, if I can't see demonstrated experience that you can do pixel art, then I don't want to waste your time or my money, right? So I want someone with experience doing pixel art.
This is a call out to the community. We got 237 people watching between Twitter and YouTube. Salute to all the great folks watching right now. If you are a pixel artist and you have proven portfolio material. Holla at your boy. Everborn Saga is looking.
By the way,
for
you don't have
artist.
to have credits, right? You don't have to have worked on a game. I
No,
just want
yeah,
to see
just
that you
show
have
it
a
to us.
portfolio of your own
Excellent.
work that is pixel art.
Excellent.
I'm not picky, and I'm not asking for any interns. This is paid work, but you have to have some demonstrated work that we can base it on, so that you can do that. Now, the last thing is I have been playing Indika, which I highly recommend. If you are a fan of Hellblade, and not just for the visuals, but because it's sort of, this is a game that sort of also tackles sort of mental illness, but they do it in a more irreverent way. So you're like a nun in like in the 14th century or whenever, I don't know what century you're in, but it's older times, and you hear voices, but the voice that you think you're hearing in your head is the devil. And there's scenes where they do that sort of switch between worlds thing, so you can like get to the other side of a chasm or something like that. And so when you let go of the trigger, you will hear the devil talking in your ear and just saying the craziest things. And then you have to press the R trigger to pray, so that and then the landscape changes, and so you can, you know, jump across a bridge or walk across a bridge that's not there when you're in the devil world, right? Like, so it's very weird, and it's funny, and they do it in a way that it's more than just like, they know that it's a game, right? And because they know it's a game, there's a lot of gamey elements, even to the point where sometimes they make it pixelated. And
so
it's just
what's with the head mounted displays I've seen a bit of here?
No, it's just because they want to keep you on your toes.
So every once in a while there's a head mounted display.
Okay, yeah, I mean, no, it's not just like every once in a while. It's just they just do weird things. Like if you saw that pause menu, you see how it looks pixelated, and it shows the different paths you can take, because it's very gamey while still doing
morose, still scary stuff. Okay, interesting, cool. So I did hear you talking about this, and I was like, right after Hellblade, I was like, I'm a little bit like gloom and doomed out right now.
like it's not like it, and it is cinematic, and the voice acting is good, but it's also just very weird. Like it's like watching like a Paul Thomas Anderson thing, right? Like it's I don't know. I highly recommend it. It's super, like every minute you're playing it, you're like, it's just super interesting. Like
it looks wild.
Check it out. And it's a gamey game.
Cool. Very cool. All right. I will check it out. I'll put that on the list. Now,
by the way,
let's see.
Steam Deck verified, so you can play it back and forth with your handheld and your, Hellblade 2 was amazing. I'm just saying that this is different.
This continues on that lineage.
Well, yes and no. I'm just saying that Hellblade 2 is very cinematic, and this is, when they say they're a game, like they'll literally, like, this is a racing scene.
There's more gamification. Okay.
Right? Like it's just it's super interesting. Like you collect points just because they're telling you it's a game, even though they do nothing. They tell you collecting points is pointless,
but you're still collecting them because it's a game. I get you. Okay. All right. Well, before we talk about the game I've been playing, let's get to some of the super chats real quick. MJ Dark, $5 super chat. He says, Everborn, how come you, a PC player identifying as a CEG,
console experience gamer, sir,
now bullying the real launch edition of the of the ROG Ally X? You jump back and forth. You'll jump back to Steam in a week. I mean, he's not wrong.
That is entirely possible. I don't doubt that. Listen.
We call him the Flip Flopper Saga for a reason.
This is the difference with me. Everybody on the internet can't admit that they're wrong, or they can't admit that they're a fraud. I can't. And so when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, and I'm like, oh, Rog Aguilar, you in the bushes? I'm not gonna pretend like whatever. Like,
Okay.
I'm very fickle. What do you want me to say?
Now, Jeroen, is it Jeron? Jeron Worthy, $2 super chat. Thank you for being here, Jeron. He asks the question, what kind of TVs do you all have? I will go first. I have the CX the LG CX. I've had it for some time now since it first released. It's been doing me pretty well. I hate to say it, I bought it specifically for the next gen, the current gen consoles, but I find myself not using it as much for those kind of current gen consoles, because that means as Everborn is sitting in the office after work is his kryptonite. Sitting in the living room and TV, that is my kryptonite. I barely ever sit in the living. If I sit in the living room, it's to hang out with the wifey, it's to watch a movie or something like that. I don't sit there to play a game, because most of my games are adult in one way or another, and I got little ones running around, so I can't be doing that.
Yeah.
No, I don't sit at a desk. I usually have handhelds. That's why my handhelds are really.
Yeah, you need that Switch. That's what you can play on your. It docks to the TV.
See, unfortunately, the Switch does not play adult content, so I'm sorry. When I want to play Alan Wake 2, I ain't going to my Switch.
Oh, I was going to say, what kind of adult content are you talking about, sir?
I want to play Alan Wake 2. Actually, believe it or not,
I was going to say the Switch has some adult content.
When it comes to that, it is far more adult than anybody else. Like, don't go there. That's a whole different conversation. I'm talking about Alan Wake 2. I'm talking about stuff with the shooty bang bangs that I don't want my little ones to be partaking of currently. So that's a handheld close to the vest, as you could imagine. But yes, I have a CX. How about you, Mr. Everborn? Which one do you have?
I have the LG CX 55 in the bedroom and 65 in the living room. And the I don't game on this, but we'll count it anyway. I have a 42-inch 4K monitor in the office, but again, I don't think that counts.
You don't game on it. Yeah,
you're right. But the 55 CX OLED, that's what the PC is connected to, the 4090.
Okay.
So I play it just like I would play the consoles. That's what CEG means.
Oh Lord,
Mr. Joanne.
Stop trying to explain the BS. If you want to count monitors, I have an Asus ultra wide, which is 34 by 1440p. So it's ultra wide, 21 by 9 at the bottom in my office. And I also have a gigabit 32-inch 4K screen. Mostly used for content creation. Every once in a while, if I'm recording footage, I will play it here so I can record it easier. But by and large, I'm on the handheld. How about you, Don? What you play? What TV do you have?
So my TV, I went with the cheaper option, but I got the Vizio OLED, the Vizio OLED model, and it actually uses panels from LG. I think from their B2 series. So
let no one slander you, sir. Vizio makes a good TV.
King David is not here. David's not here. You can be free to say what you want.
I feel safe here.
That's right. Be safe.
I wouldn't say that on the Iron Lords for sure.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's been really good, and it was half the price of the CX when I got it in 2020 during the PS5 Series X, when I bought both of those consoles, and then I also bought the VR headset, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to skimp a little bit on the TV because I spent too much. But there was some definitely some Vizio software issues, as Vizios like to do when they first launch. But as those kinks worked out over time, now it's perfect. If great, you were to get one now, it's a really good choice, I think. And
it's a good deal too out there.
They have them really cheap. I bought it for $900, 55
that's
inch.
Amazing.
Yeah, that 55 inch OLED for $900, but I've seen it go for like $650 now. So if y'all need an OLED for the low, definitely check out that Vizio OLED. Then my monitor, it's an LG 1440p 144 hertz. I couldn't tell you the model though. Regular 16:9.
Yeah. That's how you game, man. You were saying, everyone?
Just completely unrelated to gaming. Just a funny story. You can all laugh at. It's not gaming related. So, doing this podcast, I have to do it with the AC off because it sounds like a jet engine because it's an old AC. So I am dying in here, but that's not the funny story. The funny story is we got this new AC for the living room, and yesterday it was so hot. There was the whole heat wave in the Northeast or whatever. The AC and the AC just happened to decide it wasn't going to work, even though it's only like a year old. And so I'm trying to turn it on. It won't turn on. I flip the breaker. I press the button, unplug, whatever. And I look in the manual online, and it says, if it gets too hot, the AC will not turn on to preserve. And I'm like, wait a minute. You have literally one job. One job you have, and you can't turn it on when it's too hot.
So one thing I will tell you, Mr. Everborn, you need to come and talk to me. I live in Florida, where heat waves are just Tuesday. As I speak to you right now, there's a standing air conditioner, huge one, blowing 60 degrees at me right now. It's very loud, but y'all don't hear it. You got to talk, sir. I got some software for you that'll help you.
The software juice. Do
you hear it? All you hear is crisp sound, sir. It is what it is. I got a fan on. I got the AC on. No one hears a damn thing. You got to talk, man. I can help you out.
I got about a half hour before I'm going to die of a heat stroke. So I'm going to try to turn it on.
Turn it on, man.
See what it does. Because we got the same mic. So
we have the same mic. But
so maybe.
I also use, we have the same mic, but the mic will pick up certain things. So I have the mic and I use software via AI to drown out all the ridiculous noise.
Don't say that.
I know. But it works.
Just put some audio engineer out of work. How dare
I need that software too, because
it works.
In Houston, Texas, as I said before, and I have to turn off all my fans when we do
everything's on right now. It's all on and it's loud and still. Like if I turn off my what do you call it? My noise canceling, I can hear it all right now. Super loud in here, but y'all hear nothing. It's beautiful. It's fantastic.
On my own podcast, I go through. I just did it off the fly when I did my podcast. I didn't really look into actual software, so I actually was a producer, and I have Fruity Loops FL Studio, if you know.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
So I go directly through FL Studio when I'm on my podcast, and I use like noise gates and all my plugins. So
you try to use that to minimize the. I get it. I get it.
But when I'm on other shows, I can't do that.
Let me ask you a question. Your podcast, is it Nintendo focused or just like gaming?
Gaming as a whole. So actually, it's my lifelong friends since high school, middle school.
Nice.
Started a podcast where they're mostly casual gamers, like going from the COD only, like COD 2K only gamer, to like the mid tier who's like, oh, I'll play something on Game Pass every now and then. So it's a very eclectic crew of like different experiences of gaming, and me, the hardcore who's listening to every podcast, who's looking for all the news. I'm basically presenting like what our community is going through to them, and then basically seeing how they react to
laugh at us, don't they?
Yes, they do.
You know what's super funny, and Kay, I was telling you this in the DM with Paris the other day. I do this time to time with my 14-year-old. I will just explain to her or let her listen to a snippet of something crazy going on in Spaces, and just try to explain the drama of the day in the community. And this 14-year-old's reaction to grown men
crying like babies,
ready to fight and fly places, mad at developers about frame rates or what game skipped what platform. The way she makes fun of you, I'm saying community. It is hilarious. I've been trying to convince her to let us do a podcast where I just explain these things. I think it would do millions of views.
It'd be hilarious. It'd be good. Explaining gaming to a normal child.
No. But this is not a normal. This is a 14-year-old. You've never heard biting insults like you've heard from a 14-year-old girl. I'm telling you, everyone would go home crying. But it is just funny that a junior high schooler who graduated yesterday going to high school.
Salute to her. Salute to her. Yes, we saw the videos.
Hearing that assessment from the youngling on the grown man and what we get upset about is just super interesting. Maybe one day I'll convince her to let us do a pod, and we'll just do that. Just like explaining
Excellent.
Gaming beef.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, we have 296 people watching. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you being here. Consider being a subscriber. If you want to support us in that way, you can consider being a member. We love hanging out with you guys on a Saturday morning. Thank you guys so much for being here. Before we move on to our news, and we'll get out to that, let me quickly talk about the games I have been playing. As the Don has already said, the Next Fest is upon us and has been upon us for some time. So I got a chance to play a couple games. Now, these games I specifically chose because I know that they are more the AAA or double A space to AAA space that people have paid attention to. They found their way on some console platform. I think these were both announced at the Xbox showcase. So first off, I will talk about Flinklock, Siege of Dawn, I think it is. Yeah, Flinklock Siege of Dawn. I really enjoyed myself in this game. I've actually played it multiple times now, the demo. I haven't finished it to its completion because it's a demo. The save doesn't carry over or whatnot. So I played it on the PC, played it on the handhelds, been playing it on various handhelds. I put my initial thoughts of it on Twitter, and folks wanted me to, how does it run on the Steam Deck? How does it run here? How does it run there? So I've been playing it multiple times. I gotta say, when I first saw the trailer for this, it looked like it had interesting ideas, but it also looked like it wasn't ready for prime time. It looked like it was kind of rough around the edges. Since that time, a lot has happened here. This game looks really, really clean. There's a lot of buttoning up that has been done here. I enjoyed the combat system. It's quite good, quite good. It gets a little complicated, and I feel kind of like sometimes maybe they reinvented the wheel on some of the inherent control schemes that you should be aware of, but they have so much they want you to be able to do within combat that they had to change things up a little bit, and I can tell that. But it takes some getting used to. Your muscle memory as a gamer. There are certain button presses that you expect, or certain keys you expect that will do certain things. But in this game, they've changed them to different button presses or shoulder buttons or anything like that. And because of that, you will take some time to grok exactly what they want you to do. So that's a little bit of smoke on that side. Also, I find that the graphics kind of veer from outstanding to okay. Sometimes the graphics are just like, wow, this is amazing. They're really like hitting on all cylinders. And then other times you're looking at it and you're just like, yeah, this is more 360, man. Maybe early. You can tell very much this is a AA game shooting its AAA shot, But I have to say, what matters most to me anyway is the gameplay aspect of it, and it is fun. Once you start understanding the systems at play, once you start grokking all of it, you can do a lot of things. It is quite fun. This is just the beginning, obviously. This is just the demo, the very beginning, and they dole out different move sets, and they give you a companion, and you start playing with, like, getting into it with them, and it gives you a bit more mobility and a bit more of a locomotion system as you start going, and it's quite good. And I really like the story. I think the story is pretty cool. I like the protagonist. As soon as I put it out, people started talking about DEI, which made me like it even more. Screw you, assholes. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's just my one. But yes, I've really had a good time with this. Everborn, I know, because of all the various showcases, and shout out to the Wandering Dutch. We saw this first on his showcase. I know this has been on your radar. Did you get a chance to play this? I mean, you are Mr. CEG. You have access to Next Fest. Did you ever get a chance to play this? I think it might still even be available.
I actually have not played anything from Next Fest. Not because I mean, I've just been busy. I've been actually spending a lot of time. No. Just the mono game experience thing, right? It's the fact that I can do this and bring that forward. It's been taking up a lot of my time. So I've been spending way more time creating than I have, what do you call it? And I specifically ignored this game because I'm looking forward to it so much, and I know we get it next month. I don't want to just put the tip in. I want to have a fun Saturday night. So
wow.
I'm waiting for the full game, July 22nd.
He said we'll have a fun Saturday night. What are you doing, dude?
July 22nd, full game. Do not miss it. This looks great. I retweet for the last year and a half. I've been retweeting everything these guys do. I'm very excited about this game. I knew this was special when they first showed it at the Xbox showcase. Maybe we saw it before that. But it was.
We saw it the first one was the first time we saw it was definitely.
Well, no, we saw it when they were promising all these games in
2022 showcase.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but before then, Dutch showed it on his showcase.
No. Dutch was the first to show us the extended thing. Xbox showed it first at the 2022. Everything will be available in the next 12 months. But then Dutch did his,
and then Dutch did the fuller
thing,
yes,
and then we got the first long extended reveal from Dutch.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm super excited about this. But can I just say something about Next Fest and Steam?
Sure.
If you are if you fancy yourself a gamer and not just sort of a fan of a platform, Steam is kind of where it's at. It is for the gamer.
I love when he speaks with my voice. It's amazing. I've been saying this for years.
Because listen. Let's be very clear, right? No matter how you come at gaming, whether you game at a desk like a troglodyte, like Keisante, right? Or whether
I never said I game at a desk, but okay, continue.
All right. Or whether you want a game on a handheld, they've got the Steam Deck, or you could run Steam on the other handhelds. Or whether you are trying to start this movement, CEG, PC on TV, right? It is there, and they have a user interface, and they have a system of clear metrics. There's a clear system of reviews. There's the early access just works. All the stuff that sort of Phil is promising of how they see the ecosystem with cross save and picking up a device and playing wherever you want. Right now, every game that's on Steam, I can go, provided the hardware can handle it. I can play it on the big boy PC in the bedroom, or I can go pick up exactly from where I left off for the most part, because most of the games do cloud saves. But I can pick up the Steam Deck and pick it up from exactly where I left off. I don't have to think about it. And really, every device can do that, and they provide a proper user experience and these things for it. And yes, you can run it on the ROG Ally X 108 Dragons. That is the point.
Indeed, you can.
So Steam, to me, and all the games come there. Forget about Xbox, forget about PlayStation, except for Nintendo. But there are ways. Just you know what it is, Don.
No, I don't know what that is.
He's like, I have no idea. What are you talking about?
The point is, it just feels like if you are an enthusiast, and if you're listening to this show, you're an enthusiast.
Investigate
kind of where it's at.
Hashtag get a PC. I'm just saying. We've been saying this for a minute.
Even if what you don't like all the Windows mumbo jumbo and user interface stuff. That doesn't matter also, because big picture mode really is going to give you that console experience if you're a troglodyte like myself.
Do you know what I advocate for now? If you're a console main, which you have every right to be a console main. No one's denying your console main aspects right now. No one's doing that. But if you're a console main and you're like, what the hell? Why can't I play these games? Why can't I get this demo? Why can't I get that demo? Because they're all available. Why can't I get access to some of these games for V Rising? People are so excited about it on PlayStation. It's been on PC for years now.
Yeah, Black Myth Wukong. You crying about it, about whether it's a DL or the Series S, it don't matter. You know where it's at? Steam.
Exactly. If financials are the concern here, right? Beyond the and obviously if you need help, obviously the DMs are open. You could always talk to us. We could talk you through the console experience and all of that. Right now, with the Ally X coming out, OG Allies are cheap as dirt. They are cheap as hell. Get yourself an Ally just to dip a toe in the waters, right? It's like I've seen them for $200 and you have yourself an Ally. Yes, Battery's garbage. Plug it in. You're still getting the demos you couldn't get access to before. It is really good. You have options now, is what I'm saying, right? So if you're complaining, I mean, if you care to wait, you care to wait. It's all good. There's not a problem. But if the fact that we're playing all these games on these systems and you're just like, what the hell, man? Why is it not coming to console? You can get for like relatively low cost. You can get in there and have it as a side hustle. I know a lot of people have a Switch as a side device that they use from time to time. You can get an OG
nobody has
Ally.
a Switch as a main.
Why would you have it as a
old.
side when you have all these quality games? The most.
Yeah. We are having grown man conversation, Don. Calm down.
Switch does not get called on Valentine's Day. They get called on the 15th.
Right.
The Switch is not invited to the families for Thanksgiving dinner, right? They get called afterwards.
Big Mad Mo is sitting there 10 toes down. He said, I appreciate you, Beta Boy. You do that, sir.
The Switch laughs at all your jokes. Right?
That's right.
But you're not building anything with the Switch.
I was gonna say, just to add to like the whole PC gaming, so I built my PC, I want to say in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
And since then I've been like off and on PC gamer, console gamer. I would just leave my PC to collect dust, and then I'd be like, you know what, let me get back to my PC, and then I'd be like full-time PC gaming. But when the generation started, I was back on console, but then towards like 2022, I got back on PC, and I've been on PC since. And the reason I always go back and forth between like full-time console, full-time PC is there's always at some point where my PC will just give me so many troubles and so many issues that I'm just like, you know what? I just need the simplicity of console. And there's stuff that I still have to this day on, because I've only upgraded my PC. I haven't like fully just got a new PC build, and there's games that just still do not work to this day for some reason. Call of Duty, the last two Call of Duty games, even just downloading Warzone, I cannot get them to run on my PC. No matter what I try, they just don't run on the PC, and I'm just like, I've given up on it. I'm like, okay, Call of Duty is a loss. I'll just play it on console.
Okay,
but
there are those issues. I won't deny there aren't. And there's learning curves and all of that. You're absolutely right. For me, the reason why I teeter between console and PC is because at the beginning of a generation, the excitement is on console, right? You're playing a bunch of games that are brand new with the community, and it's always really fun to be part of that zeitgeist. And then after that dies down, like if everybody remembers back when PS5 and Series X and S first came out, big hype, right? After that dies down, eventually it becomes normal play, and then for me anyway, the PC always then wins, because the PC will get you that experience that you can't get anywhere else. It just will, right? And after you start complaining, going, where's my 60 frames? I go, excuse me, and I go play my 144 frames. But I don't say that to be slanderous, well, I do. But at the end of the day, it's fun to be able to dip into both worlds, right? And I guess what I'm saying with this conversation is, you as a console main, and not you specifically, but you in the chat who may be curious about this, you as a console main, you don't have to make PC your main focus, right? You could still be a console gamer and then grab a PC, grab a handheld or a mini PC or something that dips into the Steam waters from time to time. But then again, this point might be moot, because we do hear rumor and speculation that at some point, consoles will also be dipping into the PC waters. So maybe that'll be the best of both worlds for both sides of the house. But yes, in the short term, if you got a little bit of money, right, and you feel like, hey man, I want to be a part of this, and I want to play Hades 2 now, I don't want to wait till 2-3 years before it comes to console, there is an option for you, and they're relatively cheap. Like Hades 2 specifically I'm talking about, we all know that'll be in Game of the Year conversations, and that thing runs on a potato. That thing runs on anything. So you could buy like an OG ally for $200 and play Hades 2 today. Right. So there are options available to you. But before we continue, let me catch up on a couple of the super chats, and then we'll get to one last game, and then we'll get to the news proper. Max City Entertainment, thank you for being here, sir, with a $2 super chat. He says, congrats, young one. Now Everborn, beat Melina. Stop being a coward. I added that last part.
From Software, add crossplay. Well, not crossplay, cross progression. Yep. What do you call it? So Don, what you were talking about, my whole.
Well, let me catch up on the super.
Oh
chat
yeah,
first.
go ahead. Sorry.
Continue. You want to finish your statement?
No, go ahead. It's not okay. Important. Well,
okay.
When you're done with the super chats.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see that? We got BT Maverick gifted 5 memberships.
I was about to get to that. Yes, that's right. That's right.
I'm sorry.
Big Mad Mo, member for 5 months. He says, shout out to the panel. Congrats, Everborn, on Comic-Con. Boots on next season is in full effect. If you build it, they will come. Game Pass. There you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. BT Maverick 707, the great BT Maverick. He's a member for 2 months, and he says, anyone jump into Still Walks the Deep on Game Pass. 80s movie, The Thing vibes with Alien Isolation sprinkled in there. Fun 4 hours. 4 hours and a good story / character. Yeah.
Wait a minute. 4 hours, you say? This is right up my
4
alley.
Hours. Yes.
I might have to download that today.
Been talking to MJ Dark, who's also been dipping into that. He says he's enjoying himself quite well with Still Walks the Deep as well. So yeah. And then of course the great BT Maverick gifts 5 memberships to the channel. Brother, we appreciate you, man. Your unwavering support is fantastic. And of course, not to be outdone, then comes Flood. The Penguin's in the house. He drops 5 memberships as well. Gentlemen, you guys are just too kind, man. This is amazing. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. This is great, man. This is great. We appreciate y'all support.
I would like to
on
say
a Saturday
Flood,
morning.
That's not going to get anybody to game on Linux. But anyway.
Stop it. Hey. You're talking a lot of that slander, and you use the Steam Deck like everybody else. So what you talking about, bro? People are gaming on Linux. What are you doing?
That don't count.
That doesn't count. Yes, it does.
By the way, speaking of gaming on Linux, Flood, have you messed with Bazite yet? This is the open source version that is more streamlined of Steam OS.
Steam OS. Yes. I actually saw that recently. I haven't installed one.
ETA Prime did a tutorial video how to install it.
Yep.
He says not yet. And you can listen if you want. You could run it on your ROG Ally X if you wanted, but I'm not going to do that. No, it's not that. Like if you're gonna
because
get the
why
ROG
would
Ally,
you do that? Why would you do that when you could just buy a Steam Deck? You bought a ROG Ally so you could run Windows,
run the other stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And so the thing I was saying, Don, was my whole foray into the PC realm for me to do it, like to sort of be the guinea pig, so to speak, was
beta boy.
Can I make this experience as simple as what I'm used to on console? Because I have no patience. I don't even want to use a mouse and keyboard. Like I have no patience for any of that when I'm not at work. And so the way I was able to accomplish that was having it be a single purpose. There's nothing else that's installed on the PC that's going to get in the way. There's no notifications that are bothering me. The only thing that runs at startup is Steam, and it launches in big picture mode. And so in that sense, the desktop never really gets in the way. Maybe if there's a game that needs like a newer version of .NET or something like that, I'll get that. But that is very few and far between. I have a little controller-sized keyboard trackpad thing that's the same size as the Xbox controller. Okay, you got it. That's what I use for whenever those issues come up. But I wake the PC with the controller. I'm playing on the TV in that sort of console UI, the same one that's on the Steam Deck, and it makes it great going back and forth from the Steam Deck to the PC setup because the big picture mode is just the Steam Deck UI. So it's a cohesive experience. Everything automatically saves, and it is that sort of frictionless console experience, and all the games get there, right? And so it is possible. And again, I haven't had any issues where games haven't worked because it's a newer PC. I suspect, like, I don't know if you've updated your motherboard or something like that.
It's also probably not just because it's a newer PC. It's also probably because you only use it for gaming. The thing with PCs is the more you layer on, the more complication you have and the more potential it has to do things. If you say, okay, this machine, no matter how expensive, no matter what, it is single use, I'm not touching it for anything else.
I don't even have Chrome installed on this thing.
There you go.
Like Office and everything is uninstalled. It literally, it is only, other than like basic Windows services that you don't control. Yeah. But it is the only thing running on there. I have the Xbox app installed.
If you keep that up,
that comes with Windows and it comes with Steam. And I have not, I've been doing this since April.
Yeah.
No issue.
If you keep that up, it will continue to run right for you. No, I agree with you. So real quick, before we get into other conversations, let me quickly talk about the Altars that you are watching on your screen right now. Another game that I played on Next Fest. Yes, another one that was shown off at the Xbox Showcase at I think last year it was. And man, this game has such atmosphere. If you look at the game on the screen, and I'll skim through it while I talk about it real quick. If you look at the game on screen, it is also, you can tell, like a AA type of experience, but man, do they shoot their shot. It is Unreal Engine 5. I see you in there, Mr. Umbra. I see you in there. You go ahead and spend your epic bucks. Go ahead and do that right now, because this game looks insanely good. Like graphically, wow, it is insanely good. And like the world is so well built that you just want to like have aliens pop out of nowhere. You just want to have that fight. This is how, and this is no slander because I beat the game. This, to me, this is how, what do you call it? What's that PS5 game that came out? Returnal. This is how Returnal should have looked day one. And it has one of the best, some of the best water in the business. And that's saying something because Sea of Thieves owns that crown. The water in this game is just, ooh, chef's kiss. So well done. And obviously, quick premise, you land on an alien world. The idea is, and it's right at the beginning, so no spoilers. You land on an alien world. You land with a whole team. So you have the captain, you have all these other people that work all these various systems, and you land on this alien world, and you're there to mine some precious resource, some MacGuffin precious resource. And when you land, all the other people are dead. Like you find pods and they're all dead. Like you find that out 2 minutes into the game. They're all dead for some reason. And then you make your way to the ship, and now you realize that the ship needs all these people to run it, and they all have these expertise that you don't have because you're just, I think you're the crafter on that you were brought there to craft things, but you weren't there to fly the ship. You weren't there to do all the various things that need to be done in order for the ship to succeed and to run. And oh, by the way, the world that you're on right now is going to have a cataclysmic event in like, I think 5 days or something. So you have to quickly gather resources in order to do what you need to do in order to survive this cataclysmic event or move away. And the ship is this big round like wheel thing that I guess you're going to have to move. I haven't even gotten that far as to how I'm going to move it. But yes, I've just been enjoying the atmosphere of it so far. And every time you see the thing get black, that's me taking screenshots, by the way. This game begs screenshots. It is so beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. If I have any smoke for it, it's the fact that I expect to see some adversary, right? I expected like the world being this well. I was just gonna
ask, can you kill some people? Can you shoot
so
anybody?
far,
some melee.
So far. And it could change because again, I'm only early in. I think I'm about 80 minutes into the game. So far, not a single soul, not even another animal of some kind or anything. No, nothing. But man, it begs some adversaries in this world. It is beautiful. Like wow, it is so good looking.
And you said they have captured.
It's UE5, yeah. It's UE5.
And it runs without.
I mean. Let me be clear. I ran this on my PC And I got a big dog monster. Like I got the pit bull, right? So if it does have problems, it won't be my problem. I'm running this at 144 frames. But I suspect, and again, it's a demo, so we can't judge it too harshly, right? If this thing comes out and it's not able to run on consoles or it's not able to run on handhelds or whatever, I did not test this out on the handheld, but if it's not able to run on other things, then we can have smoke for it there. But it being in demo form, I usually don't pay too much attention to how it runs because it's a demo, right? And I don't even think it's slated to come out anytime soon. I think it's 2025, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that for sure. Maybe the chat knows more than I do there. But yes, they had it on Next Fest. I had to try it. It is beautiful. I mean, wow, it is so beautiful. And then what's interesting is once you get to the ship and once you start understanding what they need from you, because there is a tutorial system. I'm gonna keep it kind of vague. There is a tutorial system as to how to do what you need to do and what you need to do. They dole it out to you, what you're trying to get your hands on. Once you get there and you start working at it, the funny thing is now you start getting more of a story. Right, there's and it's called the altars for a reason. I mean, like the cover art shows like multiple versions of yourself, so I can tell you that the MacGuffin that you're trying to get is this special element that then is able to create life, and you're supposed to put DNA in it, and you put the DNA in it, and it creates life. And the first time you do it, it creates like a sheep, like you clone a sheep right on the ship, and you're just like, wow, this is crazy. And I haven't gotten further than that. But even in the intro trailer to the game, they show you that you put your own DNA in and start creating versions of yourself, right? So I need to get this. He's discovering that all the people are deceased. A bunch of his different whether it be the captain or any of these other roles have all been deceased. So like I can infer, I haven't gotten that far yet. I can infer that eventually you get to a point in the game where you're rolling clones of yourself for the purposes of getting the game, for the purposes of getting more hands in the pot in order to get the game done. It is really cool. Like I will again say, that I wish it was more like, okay, so this is great. It's a puzzle. It's a people puzzle. It's all interesting. Now here's some aliens. go shooty bang bang. Like I would love that. It doesn't look like that's what you're getting here. But what they have is super interesting. This was kind of an oddity for me. Hey, I wonder what this is. Now it's firmly on the list. I am playing this when it comes out. It is very good. Look at that world. It is beautiful. It is really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to play this during the Next Fest. I actually have it downloaded, and I did play the intro of it. And shout out to Umbra. I always slander Unreal Engine 5, so I'm not happy to know that this was Unreal Engine 5 because
it's UE5,
it actually looked good and played. It was really smooth, and I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. And now that I know it's Unreal Engine 5, I can't slander him right now. I mean, it's 2 games out of like 10 that actually look good and play good, but we get in there with Unreal Engine 5. But this is from the creators of This War of Mine.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've played that game, but it has similar aspects to it where you are managing these people in this base. Same as This War of Mine, you have to manage all of these people in your little base. And then the thing with This War of Mine is that you had to go out on missions, and they had kind of strategic combat, or you'd be stealthing through the stage to not get killed. But there was a little strategic element to it where there was some strategy gameplay where you'd have to go out and actually fight. So I'm wondering if they have that in this game as well.
Maybe it comes in. Like I'm still too early to tell, but yes, you are right. In the base building, there's a lot of base work. You can pull out, there's a view, you can move out the camera, and you can see all the various places all the various pods that you need to deal with. Here's the crafting station, here's the comm station, here's where you keep all of the elements that you gather in the world. It is quite interesting. Oh, and there's a what is it called? An radiation storm happening. And look what happens to the water and the world. It's just like, it is powerful looking. It's beautiful. Like, it is chef's kiss. Quite good. So yes, I advocate that people put this on the radar. It's called The Altars. It was weird. It is weird. And so far, no combat. But I'm still digging it. I still think it's something that's worth watching. And on the point of Unreal Engine 5, and it's on Game Pass. Yes, it's definitely on Game Pass. On the point of Unreal Engine 5, while I like to slander it as well, because I live in a world where I think more engines breeds more creativity. We can't all live in a world where everything is made in one engine. I will say, to defend it a little bit, it is the engine that more people use, and because of that, you can get games turned around relatively quickly because there's a lot of people who know how to use it. And also, the reason why it may not be as performant is because they built it adjacent to the game, to the consoles. And if you build it adjacent to the consoles, you're not incorporating the consoles' tool set and their innate strengths into the engine. They're now doing that while the engine is out, right? Had they built it with the cooperation of Microsoft and of Sony, it would have come out of the gate super performant. But they didn't do that. They built Nanite separate. They built all the various engines that they use within it, the components they use within it, adjacent to what the consoles themselves were doing. So if you do that, right, now the consoles have to adjudicate all those elements with strength. And we know the Series S ain't got it like that. They're all about the intelligence, right?
I mean,
and
even PC
both
was
consoles do
struggling
that
with some of these earlier games like Lords of the Fallen, and so it was the only console. That's why I'm like, Unreal Engine, they have to prove themselves.
It needs maturity. It needs maturity. The longer they get at it, the more that they're working with NVIDIA, the more that they're working with all the various console makers, they start maturing the product, they start maturing the processes, and they start integrating some of the use cases that the engine innately uses to what the consoles and the graphics cards can do. Right? Then all of a sudden you start seeing performance without losing all of the degradation and all that.
I'm sure COVID slowed down a lot of that too. So I know.
So no. This game is an Unreal Engine showcase for sure. It's an Unreal Engine showcase. So yeah, if it's not on your list, put it on your list. It's awesome. It's awesome. Michelle Alexandria, thank you so much for being here. Just gives $2. Didn't even say anything. I appreciate you. Next time, say something. We want to know what's on your mind. We appreciate you being here on a Saturday morning, hanging out with us. We appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. So, okay, let's move on to some of the stories that have been keeping us busy. And I want to quickly breeze through some of these and get to that Nintendo Direct, because I think that Nintendo Direct has some value and we want to talk about it. And then I want to talk about gamers. And I know Everborn Saga, you have a lot to say there in that realm. That will be our main topic of discussion today. Gamers and the games they play and all the conversations around that. Yes, but we'll leave that one for a quick
games
moment.
They play or the games they cry about?
Oh, man.
Okay,
we have to be nice first. We have to be nice.
My apologies.
First and foremost, thank you.
Wait a minute. Sorry. Before you continue, I apologize, Kay.
No,
can you hear the AC in the background?
No, I cannot.
I cannot.
Look at that. I hear nothing. I hear nothing.
Now,
look at you.
Now I have this weird thing where I turned on the noise cancellation in the headset. I have the same one as you.
Yep. When you press it, you hear everything.
No. But I have it because I'm drowning out the AC noise, so I can hear, and I hear everything perfectly except for when I speak. It is drowning that out too, and it's the weird thing where I can't hear myself speak, but I do hear it through the speakers. I don't know what's going on.
You got to get used to the workflow, sir. Yes, I do similar. You got to get used to the workflow. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyway, sorry. Just continue.
And the great John Wolf gives 5 more channel memberships. Yo, y'all are being prolific today. Thank you guys so much. This is great, man. This is unbelievably kind. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, brother. I will refrain from slandering you and your ragoons for a little bit. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you, brother. So, okay. If you have not done so, please consider hitting that like button. All 342 of you in here right now. Thank you so much. It's awesome to have you guys here. Consider being a member. There are a lot of members in the chat right now because of our prolific and very giving community. Thank you guys so much. Again, we are now also a website. So come check out thegamingcircle.com. You will find all of our shows aggregated there. You will also find some articles that we will start writing. I wrote the first one. I wrote a series called On Your Radar, games that I think you should be putting on your radar, hidden gems, games that I find, hey, super interesting. Maybe not enough people are playing it. And of course, y'all know me. So the first game that I wrote about was Fading Afternoon, which is one of the greatest games that no one is playing. It actually just released on Switch. So if y'all have a Switch, go buy that game. That game is genius. It is, and no one is playing it, and it's driving me nuts. That game needs to be in award conversations. That game is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Slow burn, but when you start getting into it, oh man, the system's on display, and still no one's playing it. It's driving me mad. People need to be playing that game. So I wrote a quick little article about what to put on your radar. Where can you find that? You can find that on thegamingcircle.com. Go ahead and give it a read. I appreciate all the feedback. There's a comment section if you choose to comment. Appreciate everybody being here. John, member for 5 months. He says, in celebration of the ROG Ally X launch in July. Him and his slander, man. All right. Thank you for your support. If you don't know, me and Mr. John, we've been going back and forth. I say the ROG Ally price point is a little bit snake oil, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. And of course, the Ragoons are pulling up. They're pulling up on us, ladies and gentlemen. Sycamore with a $10 super chat. He says Ragoons is the way up. Ally Xbox. Yeah, okay. You're helping them with their marketing. I hope they appreciate you.
This is $300 right here. This Switch. This is $300.
Actually, you can get it. You can even get it cheaper than that.
Even cheaper. $300 for 3 frames a second. Listen, the thing is this.
It's perfect.
You know, don't get mad at Sick. Phil Spencer said every screen is an Xbox. I'm just saying.
All right. So let us get into some of this news stuff that's been going on, because I want to talk about some of the news. And first and foremost, I guess this is more just a PSA on my part. We heard that happen. It was reported early this week. Xbox has confirmed they will be at Gamescom 2024. They will have one of the biggest booths they've had in a long time. Obviously, Nintendo ain't gonna be there. Obviously, PlayStation ain't gonna be there. But of course, Xbox will be there. Now, there's been questions, and I don't have any tea to spill, but I have inferences. As y'all know, I was in LA, and I did get to talk to a bunch of the guys who put on the show and all of this stuff. So I was really honored to be there, and I had some conversations in the background. And after the show was done, we were like, you guys did a great job. This is amazing. And I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to Gamescom this year as well, because I will be at Gamescom. I'm actually in the background right now talking to them, hoping that they let me in as an influencer or as a press or something like that. I want to be able to talk to some people. And they said, oh, you think this show is good? Just wait. And they left it at that, right? Now, historically, Gamescom has been one of those shows where they kind of just double click on something you already know. Maybe they'll give you a bit more details about games that already exist or anything like that. But because of the way they're talking about stuff, it makes me think that maybe we're now going to turn the page on that a bit and might give you more meat on the bones at Gamescom and TGS and those other places where you would previously just get you get more information, right? At least that's what I'm hoping for. What do you think, Don? Is Xbox being at Gamescom a good thing? Is Nintendo not being at Gamescom a bad thing? What are your thoughts about Gamescom in general, historically and moving forward?
Yeah, so Gamescom has always felt like baby E3.
Even though it's got way more people.
Yeah, I always hear that it has like way more attendance because
last year's attendees, 320,000 people. Last year. I looked it up.
Yeah, as far as like when it comes to the announcements, which is mostly like the people who aren't actually attending, most people are just waiting for like the big announcements, and it always felt like, oh, this is the baby version of E3 when it comes to that side of it. I know as far as the convention, it's probably better than the latter years of E3. But as someone who's watching from the outside, Xbox actually used to do streams where they would actually like have
3-4 day streams.
They'd have new games. They reiterate on some older games and give you some new gameplay and stuff like that. I think it was Gamescom where we got the Halo Infinite release date, or was that it was like the Gamescom Live that Jeff Keighley does. And it was weird because it was after the Xbox Gamescom show that they did. I remember that. So they used to do these streams, but then 2023 they didn't do an actual stream for Gamescom, and it was just that they had their booth there. They were basically like, yeah, this is our biggest booth yet, which they're saying again this year, and they're letting people play all of the games that they have lined up for this year. But what I actually want from Gamescom is for them to have another E3. Like, I want them to have this as their second showcase for some of the smaller titles that were missing during the showcase, like Towerborn. I'm really looking forward to that Wu-Tang game. I don't know if this would be the place. I'm still waiting on that Wu-Tang game. I really hope that's still a thing. But I just want something along those lines where even if it's just more gameplay of games that we already know about, if we can get like full extended looks, like back-to-back just extended gameplay trailers, I'm okay with that too. I just don't want it to be just
a regurgitation last year. That's right.
Yeah, I want some kind of stream instead of just being like, oh yeah, we have booths here, and if you can make the flight out to Germany, we got you. But if you can't, there's really nothing to show except waiting for like the creators, the content creators to talk about their experiences.
Yep. I guess, and I'll be in the spot. I've already said that. I'll be there. I'm looking forward to meeting Boxenberger. I'm looking forward to meeting Wandering Dutch. I'm looking forward to meeting all the great European content creators that we know and love in this community. So I'll definitely be there. But I guess this is more for me, right? I too don't want it to be a regurgitation of what you've already seen at games at the Summer Game Fest or something, or the LA shows, if you will. I need this to be its own thing, right? I need them to stand on their own too, especially considering now that E3 itself is no longer like a thing, right? And Xbox has so much publishing arm now. They have so much content. They cannot make sure that all of them drop at E3. And based on what I was listening to them talk about, it sounds like there may be some of that. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, what are your thoughts? Should I recalibrate my thinking, or is this going to be the year where Gamescom stands on its own 2 feet? What do you think?
I would temper my expectations on that. What I think
said the words. No,
I'm sorry. No. Listen. The games they mentioned, I want to see all of them.
Yep.
However, I think there's this idea that Gamescom is gonna. I just don't want to not that we're doing that. But I don't want to go into Gamescom thinking it's going to be like another showcase, right? If we get to see in-depth gameplay and get dates on everything that they have listed above, I think that in and of itself is great. And that by itself will make it a great show, like with more gameplay and dates for those things. But thinking like, we're going to get Clockwork Revolution there. We might get Contraband there. I don't like... Pump your brakes. Maybe you'll get one surprise or two, but
I will say we are getting those things there. I want that to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Get me a full new showcase with different fantastic things.
They're not gonna do that. That's not gonna happen. There's a lot of stuff that's coming this year that we don't have dates on. I think this is the show where you date those things.
You'll get that, but you'll also get different things you didn't see at the E3 show, at their June showcase. You'll get newer things.
Maybe one.
I'll say that.
But we'll see.
And they won't be small. They will be big monsters that you'll go, holy crap! I didn't expect this here. This year's the year. Stop being cowards, people. Be hyped.
Maybe you finally hear about Final Fantasy 16. Who knows?
Who knows? It might be a thing. I'm hoping for it. But okay, this was just a small topic to get us started. We have a few more. And the next one is basically just to piss off Everborn Saga. Sir, have you read this? Have you seen this? That PlayStation is gating, money hatting, if you will, parts of the new Sonic game? Has this come to your come to your attention?
Here's the thing with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the particulars.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would not be surprised if remember, Sega is sorry, not Sega. Sony is one of the largest powerhouses in anime in the world, at least from the distribution standpoint.
Yeah.
And it is entirely possible that they've had they own Aniplex, which is more like, they own Crunchyroll, they own these things, they have production houses. It's entirely possible that Sony did this animation or these animations that they're keeping on their platform, right? And if they did, then can you really be mad at it, right? I mean, it's petty, right? That if you added that to the game, you don't put it out there for everybody, and it's not going to get me to buy it on PlayStation.
Ooh,
but
there you go.
But no. But like, I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to do some scummy platform stuff to get me to go to your platform, it's not going to work, specifically because you didn't even try to hide it. So for me, I'll watch that bonus on YouTube and buy the game where I want to play it.
Boom! There he goes. He's advocating. There you go. You're telling people exactly what I was planning on doing anyway. So there you go. I saw this and I was like, "Oh, Everborn shall not be pleased." It is what it is. So
but listen, honestly, if I don't, we'll find out the details. But I would not be surprised if it is Sony
if they made it
is the ones that did this animation. And if they did that, it's their right to do it. Whether it's petty or not is a different discussion.
Absolutely.
But like, it's within their rights to do it if that is the case. Because it's a weird thing to have a bonus on.
So look, I won't even get the Don's opinion because I know it'll be slanderous because it's Sonic related. So we'll keep it moving. He'll admit it. We'll keep it moving.
You got lucky, Everborn. Just know that.
So and this is and I've already talked about this because me and shout out to the great J Mac. We double dipped. 323% spike in Gears of War Ultimate viewer.
And now there are 323 people playing.
No. That game is great. It's basically a remake of the original.
No. I know the game is great. I'm just saying we don't know what that means unless we know how many people were playing.
People were playing originally. That's right.
But it does go to show
I bet it was at zero. I bet it was at zero.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like you got 10 people playing. That doesn't.
Gears Ultimate has still had a loyal base going.
Well, not in the campaign. I bet the multiplayer was still thriving, but multiplayer, And honestly, truth be told, my only reason for putting this out here is because this picture is weird. Watching this man smile just weirds me out, and I want everybody to feel as weird as I do.
Well, I mean, it's pre-Scar, right? So
yeah. But yes,
and he's got the porn goatee.
Exactly, you got the porn stash, the whole thing.
Well, okay, so the point that I wanted to make about this one when I saw you put the story up was, it just goes to show you how important first impressions are. And the idea that they hit. What? Wait a minute. I see Slow-Mo has a super chat.
All right. Let's stop for a moment. Slow-Mo backslap, $5 super chat. He says, "Don't play Erdtree, Everborn. It took you a year to beat the Fire Giant. You'll finally beat Erdtree when the next generation begins." Ooh.
I can't really say he's wrong.
Slander doesn't hit as well if he doesn't fight it, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, what am I gonna say? Listen, if I say anything, somebody's gonna pull up the clips.
The digital receipts on you. That's right.
About the Fire Giant. But anyway,
thank you for your support, Slow-Mo.
Dead to rights on that one. But anyway,
out here.
But first impressions are so important, and so a lot of people are running back to Gears a lot, and it's just off of a trailer that gave people the sort of nostalgia feels. The feels,
man. People are crying, grown man tears.
Right?
You should see this aggregation of content. Oh, it's so good.
Brad Sams made a joke. He was like, Craig is back and he's angry because you see the visuals on the locust that Marcus was fighting in there.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think, if I'm not asking them to change anything about Halo, what it is today. I think if they hadn't tripped out of the gate with Halo, meaning when they showed it properly.
Quick face and all that. Yeah.
I think we'd be in a very different situation, and 343 would be in a very different situation with Halo Infinite today, because they made something great. These are IPs, and Gears tells you that people love. And if you bring it back right, if you introduce it right, the audience will go with you, because people are on board for whatever they're doing right now. We don't even have a lot of details yet.
So are you saying, because and I think a lot of people have probably already watched what I'm talking about here. There is like a YouTuber, I forget his name. I should give him credit if I can find it. I'll put it on Twitter.
You talking about Rebs Gaming?
I don't know the name of the YouTuber, but basically they went and they found all of people's reactions and they stitched it together in like a 16-minute like long screed of people responding and reacting to when Gears of War E-Day was announced. And some folks were like literally crying real tears. They were just losing it.
That was a bit much, but I understand.
Even Matt Booty commented on it. Like a lot of people were so emotional. No, I'm sorry, I won't do that. Not me. But people were really emotional about it. Are you saying there's a world where people are that emotional about Halo again? I don't know, man. The way people were crying with this thing, man. Oh.
But listen. Halo was gone for longer than Gears was gone at that time. And so they absolutely, again, I'm just talking about first impressions. If they had nailed the first impressions, I believe that they had a good, the gameplay there was good. I like the game. This is not about Halo right now. This is about Gears. I'm just saying, I'm just using this as a point that your first impressions are so important. So important. And I think that you could see the grown man tears if they come back with a new first impression of whatever the next Halo is going to be.
Big Poppy Senpai says that will be Everborn when Sega releases a good Sonic game. Damn.
So you're saying this holiday with
so
Sonic
we expect to see Everborn on here going
Sir, I cry in the bathroom. I do not cry on camera.
Like a man.
I have self-respect, yes.
Okay. Well, quickly moving along. Let's move along. Matt Booty, which you put this in our DMs, the podcast that was done. Talking about how
44 minutes. I listened to the whole thing. You can ask me questions. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. I actually liked his back and forth with the podcaster. I actually think it was there was some nuggets of information here and there, but they're basically saying that they are pleased with how Sea of Thieves has performed on PS5, and that they're continuing to experiment with certain titles. And then he dropped that nugget that people have been kind of holding on to for a while now. Like ever since he dropped, as soon as he said it, my brain went, "Oh God, there it goes." Like and I was listening to the podcast. And ever since that time, I was like, yep, that's where people are going to hold on to. And I was right. People are holding on to it now, which is console launch exclusives.
Oh, God.
Right. That's what he said on the show. And everybody's like, what does that tell you? That tells you everything's going.
Wait a minute. Please, go ahead. Wait a minute. You don't get to take a victory lap because Sony says they're taking a dual approach and then a week later puts Horizon on the Switch, but that's neither here nor there. You don't get to take a victory lap then try to pretend launch exclusives are now a bad thing when you are just running through the timeline about how launch exclusive is all you ever wanted. Like,
no, but this is not what we're talking about. That out. Stop dealing with the.
I'm saying the people who are but it's only console warriors that are grabbing onto launch exclusive. So that's who you're talking about.
No, not necessarily.
Okay,
I'm talking about the gamers. Because remember, these are this is game.
What
I
gamers?
I heard Brisket talking about it. I heard a bunch of folks on the Infinite podcast talking about it. It's a great show, by the way. If you're not watching it, you should watch it. Has Umbra on there, that blue number, Dante Moody. They were all having these conversations. They were bemoaning the fact that since there is still no solid stake in the ground, and that every time they speak, and by they I mean Xbox speaks, there's always a little caveat to it that then becomes its own.
Okay.
Big flurry
Here's the
of
problem with that. You want me to really talk about this? All right.
Well, we can
gamers.
save it for save it for the gamers conversation at the end, which I want to have that more full.
Okay, because we're gonna have to. Hey yo, we're gonna have to sit around the campfire and
we have to. Yes, we have to. Yes, we do.
Anyway,
yes, we do.
So I think this is the most clear that they have been since January, because a lot of people were left in the dark, and it is definitely more clear than what was in the business update.
True.
And I know he talked about Tango and all that stuff, and that was definitely more clear than what we got from Sarah Bond in the Bloomberg interview. At least acknowledging that there is some level of.
Don't worry, Link. I will let him speak. I'm saving the good stuff to the end. Don't worry, he'll speak. I promise you.
But this is the thing. I thought he spoke with confidence. I understand where they are coming from, and I keep telling you mofos, even though you do not want to hear this, and we'll get to the gamers. I'm gonna leave the gamers out of it, but I don't know how many times I have to say this. The FTC is still trying to break apart the Microsoft ABK merger. They still have a case planned, and their entire case was around Microsoft would make more money if they brought Call of Duty and ABK content exclusive, even though that makes no sense. Right? And so if you want to kill that case in the crib before it happens, because what's happening right now, Microsoft won the case for the way they wanted to stop it, the injunction case, and then the FTC appealed, and then they argued that case, and they argued the case entirely around Microsoft did one thing with Bethesda where they said case by case, and then they made everything exclusive, and therefore you shouldn't trust them with ABK because they're going to lie to you, right? And so now when they say, hey, we're pleased, we are making more money when we put the games everywhere, right? Like they argued that case. The appeals court in the Ninth Circuit has not decided on it yet. If they decide that Judge Corley made some errors in her decision writing, don't worry, it's not going to break up the deal. It just goes back to her and she has to rewrite the decision. But it will give the FTC fuel to go and continue their in-house case. And all this is prep work for that. And I'm not saying that means
preemptive inoculation.
I'm not saying that means it's a ruse. I am not saying that. I am saying the reason you don't have more definitive language about what is going where is because all the internal and external musings have to be on case by case. They're using the same language, right? It has to be on we will make more money if we go everywhere, and then if the case comes up, look what we have done. So just remember there's 4 levels to everything that you hear these executives say. That being said, this has been the most clear. I liked what I heard regarding launch exclusives, at least acknowledging that they understand exclusives are important. You got your guarantee of Game Pass. You got a little bit of insight into the decision around Tango, which made no sense to us. And you hear Matt Booty, who you could never get in an interview because he was in witness protection for the last 3 years, right? You
Bring
hear
the
him
Booty
finally
to the stage.
coming out.
No.
Hey, yo. But you hear him coming out and speaking to these things. And so I thought it was a great interview, and I thought it was very insightful.
So the chat is coming for you a little bit. They say this sounds like a little mental gymnastics, but we'll let that one sit.
Like
now.
what? I don't know what people. I don't know what
we'll
people wanted to hear.
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Someone says my info is outdated. What did I say that was outdated?
So he's on the topic of since the information was basically the case was lost on June 6th, I think it was June 6th is when it was officially concluded. And he's saying that your information's outdated because that was concluded in June 6th.
The case concluded June 6th. So you're not paying attention, sir.
Yeah.
They appealed. The FTC appealed that June 6th decision.
And it has not been finally adjudicated just yet.
Right? And then they argued that case, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has not come back with their decision.
Yes.
If you're going to come for the king, you best not miss.
Let's move on before
this
derails. Let's move on before this derails.
Okay, the point is, I thought the interview was great. If you're grabbing onto launch exclusives, you're grasping at straws, and it is just a form of masochist Xbox fans and port begging PlayStation fans. So that's all that is. It is much to do about nothing, and it was a great interview. Let's go to the next thing. Oh, wait. We didn't even ask Don.
I was about to get to Don. I was about to get to Don right now. Don, I don't know if you listened to that whole 40-minute. I would excuse you if you didn't. We tend to listen to a bunch of those podcasts and things. My question to you, sir, is with these conversations out there now, and I'm sure you've seen the headlines and whatnot, does this move the needle for you in any way, shape, or form, one way or another? I know you're a Nintendo main and you play on Xbox from time to time. You play on PC from time to time. Do you care about any of this? Because different people seem to care about different parts of it. Where do you sit?
So I'm actually like I love Nintendo, but obviously Nintendo does not put out enough content for me to be a Nintendo main. So really,
somebody clip that real quick. Okay.
Wait a damn minute.
Hold on now. When there's some Nintendo games out, it's Switch all day. But once I beat that game, I'm Xbox ride or die. Like it's hold the line, everything. Like I'm here on Xbox side. Okay.
There you go.
When it comes to the whole launch exclusives thing, quote that I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but I did read through Windows Central article on it, and I already went through my my phase when we first heard about the exclusives going over. It was actually my panel members, the casual gamers who were looking at me like I was crazy for being mad that more people would be able to play these games, and I'm over here like punching air. Like
listen. Hey Don, not to cut you off. You know how I said earlier I tell my kid about the ongoings? I told my 14-year-old about how back in January, like, I don't know what's wrong with Xbox. They're gonna put games everywhere, it's gonna destroy the brand. She's like, what are you talking about? More people playing these games is good.
Which is what I told him as well, but of course I was wrong. His 14-year-old.
Yeah, you was wrong, and so was she. God damn it, she don't know what she's talking about.
She is not.
14.
She is not wrong.
She was 13 at the time.
Please go ahead, Don.
Yes.
Don't mind the musings of the console warriors on our panel. Continue, sir.
So since then, I've come to terms. I'm seeing the bigger picture. I won't say I like it as someone who has been in the exclusives, like the exclusive war for so long. It's just taking some time to get used to. Even seeing like the Lego Horizon go to Switch, that was just like it's wild. Shout out to Nintendo for being the only one with full exclusivity. Mario will never touch any of these consoles.
Just so you know, that also is not long for the world because they just bought a porting house. I'm just saying. They bought a porting house, and you know it. So let's keep moving.
You know, we ain't gonna go there.
Y'all roads lead to Gabe Noel.
All roads lead to the Gaben. Indeed.
But yeah, I'm not. I don't think that it's what people are trying to latch onto with the launch exclusives means that every single game that Xbox puts out will eventually end up on other platforms. Everborn, I actually wasn't thinking how I like what he was putting down when it comes to the whole FTC trial and everything. So that was actually some good insight on that too. But the from the what I heard from the Matt Booty interview, definitely a lot more clarity on the situation. But it's I don't see much has actually changed from what I was already expecting.
Hey, I just want to. I also want to make clear about my the context that I added. I am not expecting like Phil Spencer or Matt Booty to turn around and look at the camera with the wolf eyes like Michael Jackson at the end of the Thriller video when this thing is beaten, and they're gonna turn around and say it's all exclusives. I don't expect that, but I do expect we will not get clear, definitive language about what's what until that situation is fully sorted. And they have to play that game until that is completely in the rear view, and then I think they'll give us the clarity we want, which is more games are good. And I do think they were truthful. You're gonna see more games, but it is case by case. But I do believe they have sacred cows. But if they say that now, if they say there are sacred cows today, the things that will actually hurt the brand, because that hasn't happened yet. It's hurt public opinion, but you have not heard a Gears or a Halo announced.
Public hardcore console.
Sure. But what I'm saying
that's not public opinion.
What I'm saying is, you will. I'm just saying we will get we'll get more definitive language once that's in the rear view. As of now, if they say there are sacred cows and there's things that would, hurt the brand and we'd lose money, then that's just going to be used against them to say, well, why doesn't that apply to Call of Duty? So I'm not. So again, I am not saying this means they're going to go to full exclusives again. Nobody believes that. But I am also saying the language that we want from them, because I do believe most people would be okay with whatever they say if you just said it. When you don't say anything, people assume the worst. So
and then they fill in the blanks with crazy madness. Yes, absolutely.
The language is due to that case, not the policy itself, if that makes any sense.
I don't disagree. Did anybody remember the Alone in the Dark reboot that looked really good, that had like a bunch of top tier actors in it?
It didn't really look good, but it did have top tier actors. I'll give you that.
It did look good. I mean, it looked really good.
It was just
the people who played it said it was good. It was just me, he says. Anyway, clearly, I guess he's right, because now the game did not sell well, which, by the way, neither did Alan Wake 2, just so we know. But these guys, unfortunately, are backed by Embracer Group, so they are closing the studio, and a bunch of people are losing their jobs now, unfortunately, because of it. Now, this is Embracer. I didn't put this in here for anything more than just to let people know that, it's still happening, folks. We may look back at this at the end of the year and take an accounting, and it'll be just massive, because every once in a while, I think, didn't Sony also close something recently? Like, they're all just kind of happening in the background, and as long as it's not like big bad huge numbers, people just kind of take a touch point. Oh, that happened again, and then they move on. So I was actually, and I've heard this from many people, say, hey, that looked interesting. I'll put it on my backlog and I'll play it eventually. I think all of us doing that led to this game not getting the attention it most likely deserved. And here we are. They're closing the studio. Clearly, it sounds like Everborn Saga does not care about this. And I'm not talking about the studio closure, because obviously people losing their jobs always sucks. But I'm talking about the game itself. Don, did this reach your radar? Did you care about any of this, or was you just kind of more like on his page, not really, didn't really move the needle for you?
When it first was announced, I was kind of looking forward to it. I remember Alone in the Dark. I actually played the GBA version, I think, when it came to Switch Online, and had some fun with that. But yeah, I was looking forward to it when it was first announced, but then the more I saw of it, it was like, and then Dead Space and RE4 and everything was coming. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna make the cut, and
yeah,
it just seems like it didn't really hit the mark as far as reviews to boost people into having interest in it, and then it just fell by the wayside.
Yep. I think it's sad. Graphically it looked interesting. It looked like they were really putting their foot down. They were really like trying to set a benchmark. I will most likely play this. It'll most likely be available on some subscription service, or it'll probably be really cheap on PC at some point, and I will give it a shot. I just think it's sad that once again we're hearing more and more studios being closed. It is what it is, But not to be outdone, while they're closing studios, they're also talking about developing wholeheartedly with AI. So AKA, we're losing our people and we're going to supplement it by robots. Now, I put this in here because this is kind of a touch point to what we've been discussing. Myself, Everborn, we've discussed this on a few occasions with the idea and the advent of generative AI being around. A lot more people, a lot more companies are going to try and supplement their development pipelines with it, and it's going to come at the cost of individuals. And it's looking like at least that's their plan here with Embracer, which I don't think anybody's surprised at this, right? We've seen them lose many of studios and employees, and now they're like, don't worry, there's nothing to see here. The robots will will pick up the slack. Everborn Saga, sir, did this come across your timeline, and how do you feel about this? Are you still full bore in the Skynet future, or are we having second thoughts?
Listen, I think it's a buzzword to scare people. I'm not saying it won't get rid of any jobs, but if you actually try to use this stuff, I do think it definitely makes people more productive, meaning like you can get more done, and it takes out boilerplate stuff. Right now, where AI is, unless there's some crazy leap, it is basically the world's best drafting tool. But in terms of making things and really making things that people want to interact with, it's not going to do that for you. And so if it allows we see studio closures, we see ballooning budgets, we know that prices have to come down. And if this can shorten the development life cycle, right, from 5 years to 4 or 3, that's already bringing budgets down, right? If less people that you have to pay and keep on staff, even if it's just the prototyping stage, right? If this can help you get up and running faster, if it can help solo developers develop, do more things and create things, I say it's ultimately a good thing, because the way the industry is now today, a lot of people feel like it's unsustainable with these budgets, and it's leading to the bigger companies taking less risks, right? I think Nintendo, to their credit, they have costs under control.
Are you seriously about to give credit to Nintendo right now with Don Otaku on the show? Are you serious right now, bro?
I mean, listen, you gotta throw a dog a bone every now and again. but no one can deny they have budgets under control. But if you want to continue to see the cutting edge, big AAA, McGraphics kind of stuff, right? You gotta find a way to bring down the cost. And UE5 is not the answer by itself. It helps, but and guess what? UE5 uses a lot of machine learning to do the stuff they do.
Oh yeah.
Does that count, or does that not count?
They're actually using a lot of generative AI themselves.
Right.
In the engine.
So let me ask you a question. If we praise UE5 and we say, oh my God, UE5's great. Look what it allowed the Hellblade team, the Ninja Theory team to do. They got like 80 people and they made something that looked like that, right? So we look at that and we praise it because it allows smaller groups to make more high profile stuff. But then you hear the buzzword AI and you hear companies like Embracer talking about it and saying it'll allow us to bring down costs and make teams smaller, and we say, oh no, that means you're going to lose jobs. You can't have that both ways.
I kind of think both exist though. Like you can both commend them for doing a lot with a little, because these tools are super powerful. But in the same breath, you can also understand, because both thoughts can live side by side in people's heads. You can also understand that being able to do a lot more with less teams means the world where that team used to have hands on the pot to do that becomes smaller. Like I in my world, I deal with that on a daily basis. I used to have a 4 or 5 man team that used to handle document writing. Now I do it by myself in an afternoon, and those people no longer have jobs. It is what it is, right? We can both credit the tools for being able to allow us to do more, which we are crediting, obviously, absolutely. But it can't be either or, it's both. Like it is both great that it's existing, and now it's allowing people to do so much more and all of this. Y'all saw my slanderous thumbnail. That's all AI. It's a beautiful thing. But that means I did not have to go on Fiverr and pay somebody to do that for me. Both can exist, is what I'm saying. Right? What do you think, Don? Oh, I'm sorry, Everborn, you were going to finish up.
No. I mean, sure, but who's to say you would be able to afford to pay somebody on Fiverr? I know you can.
Now you're adding straw man argument, sir.
No, it's not a straw man argument. It is not a straw man argument. What I am saying is, and I prefer steel man arguments. Pause. But a steel man argument is you actually earnestly attack a critique of the argument you're making. So the thing is, all I'm saying is it is a good thing if it allows smaller teams to do more, because they may not have to have the budget. And the less people you have to ask for money, the more creative you can take in what your vision is going to be. Is all I'm saying. But sorry.
Sure. No, I don't disagree. Don, what are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, counter to popular belief, I actually think AI is a good thing ultimately when it comes to game development. The same scummy publishers, the EAs, the Activisions, the big ones are gonna use, because at the end of the day, AI is a tool, and depending on how you use that tool, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. I foresee a lot of the big publishers using AI, using AI to basically take jobs from individuals who were doing it before, because they could get away with just having the AI do that a lot faster for a lot less money. But at the end of the day, the indie development is a very big part of our industry, and the more tools, the more power that we can give to these indie developers will create better games, more games than what these publishers could even put out in a year's time. So I think empowering these indie developers with AI tools so they can level up to the point where you start to see it become even more indistinguishable between the AAA and the indie teams who are making these games. And once that happens, these big publishers, they matter less in the long run. They don't control as much of the market. So when they are doing the scummy practices that they do, when they're using AI in ways that diminish the gameplay experience, then the indies will be there to shine even brighter.
I don't disagree. I don't. I just want to continue to always recognize that there will be fallout.
So wait a minute. You don't disagree with Donald Taco, and then you push back on me.
And I don't disagree with you either. No, I don't disagree with you either. I don't. It's just I feel like, and I'm not saying that's what you guys are doing. I feel like sometimes the fallout from this, the forward motion, the displacing of people and all that is given short shrift, like that's just part of it, which it is, right? It is, but more and more, right? And specifically to your point, Everborn, you seem to always err on the side of, well, maybe they can do more with less now. maybe then they can take those people and put them someplace else, which is all well and good, and I don't disagree with any of those points. But we are seeing signs that some of them are going, you know what, B, we want to keep some of our money. So we're just going to get rid of these people and supplement it with AI. That is happening as well. And I just feel like while, and you know, I'm the technologist in the room. I love this stuff. I think us moving forward and doing more, having artists be able to actually have full capabilities to make games and not just be hampered by just being artists and not having coders with them. I think that moves us all forward. I think that is great. But I just kind of feel like every once in a while when we have these conversations, I need to at least acknowledge the displacement, because I feel that in my workday all the time. The people that I no longer can employ because it is just what it is. And unfortunately, that is part of the equation as well. And I don't want to give that short shrift, is I guess what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's not pushback. It's more an addendum to my agreement of what you guys are saying. You know what I'm saying? that's what I think about it. Real quick, I don't want to miss the super chat. Thank you, Roshan.
Yeah, and I want to say one last thing on that, but go ahead and then
yeah. Roshan says just because someone doesn't understand the situation doesn't mean they're right. Exclusives are still good, and it's not about more people playing. So I guess I may need you to expound a bit on the not about more people playing stuff, because like to me when and I agree with you that just because you don't understand doesn't mean you're right. I get that. The not about more people playing stuff makes me go, well, back in the day it was about you buy my box, I sell you my games, and then we create this isolated world where you just live in it and you just keep buying my stuff, right? But now that it's very easy for that content to traverse all these places, they even make impossible ports for Switch, that not about more people playing thing kind of goes away, because it is about more people playing. Because yes, the idea of more people playing sounds altruistic, but it also means more money in the pockets of the people who made it, right? So I kind of feel like it is about more people playing. Whatever, Bourne, you wanted to double
well,
that.
let me answer that point from the super chat, and then I'll come back to the AI thing, and then we can move on to the next thing. So I think that this, you know how we talked about the ship sailing for physical media and offline play, right? And if you wanted to fight that battle over ownership, you should have done it 20 years ago or something like that.
Long time ago, yes.
And so the thing is this, and I understand when people say exclusives are good, but the reason they're saying that is a business reason that is created by these companies. And I'm not saying exclusives are bad. The reason people say they are good is because it allows teams to focus on right. It's historical, and teams can focus on one platform and play up to that platform. The problem with that is, the reason we had exclusives to begin with is because we were in a world where all the hardware from each manufacturer was very different, and the software. So basically, the platform would innovate on the hardware, and then the software would show off that hardware that they made. So if we look at how different the 360 and the PS3 were, right? If we look at how different the
Power PC versus
Sega Saturn, right, Power PC versus Cell. If we look at how different the Sega Saturn and the PS1 was, if we look at how
blast processing and all this other
how different was the Sega Genesis versus the Super Nintendo, right? Those are
it was a necessary evil at the time.
I don't even think it was evil. It is we're gonna do this thing on hardware, and we're gonna make software that takes advantage of that. But everyone has gone x86, and these things are basically spec'd down PCs. And if there's nothing you can really do, because they're basically using the same APUs for the most part, right? There's no real reason other than a business reason for things to be exclusives, and that is a thing that benefits them, not necessarily.
Here's the funny thing, what you say there, right? There is no reason but a business reason, and that same business reason is now counteracting, because now the question is, well, ports are easy, and now you have this whole new
I don't want to gloss over how easy ports are because I feel like PlayStation.
They're becoming easier and easier. They're becoming easier
every day. Yes, we can say that.
And PlayStation is way behind the 8 ball on it. They focus all their energy on one porting house, and now even they're diversified. Porting is becoming a boilerplate part of the gaming equation, and it's the sauce that they have, the math they need to do with, well, we used to have to port at big costs to get it on another platform, and oh, by the way, if we get it on another platform, it's diluting our brand, right? But now porting costs are relatively cheap because a lot of these studios that you hear making their first games were porting studios for a long time, making their bones, getting their feet underneath them before then they start going out and doing their own thing. So porting is becoming a bit boilerplate in the conversation of gaming. And oh, by the way, once you have that porting cost done, now you have the potential of exponentially more sales on PC and other platforms. It's that same business reason that kept exclusives are now counteracting the idea of exclusives because you make more money and it's an easier cost of entry to get into. Am I wrong in that hypothesis?
You're not wrong. I just don't think it's that simple. But yes, ultimately, for where we're going, I think that is correct. And just because there's a reason Sony had to buy Nixxes. There's a reason Nintendo just bought that porting house. Their tools are not set up to have that thing. And Microsoft, owning Windows and being the creator of DirectX, it's a lot easier for them.
It makes it easier for them to do it. Exactly.
And we see they have studios right now with this whole porting initiative. Just to go to PlayStation is not a trivial task. A lot of people, and Matt Booty talked about that. A lot of people don't have that muscle because they've never exercised it. And so unless your entire development pipeline is including that from the get-go, it's going to take extra work. I'm not saying we won't get there. And there is a reason that the PlayStation Store, the store itself, is bigger than the Xbox Store, and there's a reason that there are people over there. So I'm not glossing over it. I am only saying that it is a business reason, and if we're saying a business reason benefits us, I don't know if I can get on that train.
Yeah, I don't think the business reason ultimately benefits us. I don't think so. And I leveraged that question to the team over at the Infinite Podcast yesterday. And as a gamer, right? As a person who's bought into whichever ecosystem you're in, you're on PC. That's where you play all your games. You're on Xbox. That's where you play all your games. You're on PlayStation or Nintendo. As a person who's bought in, specifically, let's keep it to Xbox because there are a lot of Xbox audiences here, right? You are in Game Pass. You see all the benefits coming to Game Pass day one. You're in there. You're enjoying your games. They're providing you value for your dollar. What, from a gamer's perspective, does them keeping those games exclusive to you give you? Nothing. Am I wrong?
Hold on.
Somebody,
I want to take. You have to take something out of it. Okay. If you exclude, Twitter.
Yeah, but Twitter's not a real place.
No. Hold on.
Twitter doesn't exist.
If you exclude the argument on the timeline.
You see, he's carving a lane for the whiners and the complainers.
No. This is not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Just hear me out. How does a game being in more places hurt you aside from the timeline?
Aside from the list wars that we're talking about here. Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't.
Now
it doesn't. Actually, it helps you. Because that assures that you'll get part two of that game, even if it doesn't hit on your own platform.
We are going to steelman this argument, and we're gonna say the reason it might hurt you is because you think that it will lead to the platform going away and you lose your library. So to that, I would say, what if your library is guaranteed?
Exactly.
Right? What if the now second richest company in the world doesn't need to sell as many consoles as the other one?
That's right.
Right?
Because remember, consoles were, and I say that and people don't understand what that means. Consoles were always a means to an end. Consoles were VCRs you needed to put the movie in. If you can get it on streaming, why am I selling you a VCR? Right? If you can get it elsewhere, if it can be provided to you elsewhere, which is still what makes the money, which is the content, right? Why must the box that I sell you in order to give you that content still have any relevance? And not to say it's not relevant at all, because a lot of the market still uses that, but not the vast majority of the market anymore. It's not the main driver of selling that content.
If the argument is you think that you will lose your library of, because how long do you think this would take to get to a place where, even though this is a fictional place, but that fictional place, let's again, we're steel manning this argument, so we're going to take it seriously. That fictional place where the console goes away, how long do you think we take to get there?
I don't think we ever get there.
No. But for them,
I really don't think we ever get there.
That's not you. Not you. How long do they think it will take to get there? Not you.
You mean the worried the console gamer?
Yes.
How
long? Because we're steel manning the argument. We're giving them full credence, right?
See, but just because they think that doesn't mean it's real. I don't think that ever happens.
I understand, but again, this is why people get into arguments, because they feel like people aren't listening to them. So take people's arguments earnestly. I'm taking the argument earnestly.
Sure.
If you believe, if your issue with this, it's not console warring and it's not about the timeline, if it is the concern that if the brand dies, you'll lose your library. Right? When do you think you'll lose your library?
I honestly think that, if this is PlayStation, right? If this is PlayStation, maybe a generation from now, another generation after the PS5.
So
maybe after PS6 be the last one. But then again, the weird thing about PlayStation is until PS4, you were always losing your library, right? PS4 is the only library that you've been able to keep.
But you're going to get at least one more generation of the Xbox. So what I'm ultimately getting at is you are worried about losing your library a decade from now.
A decade from now, that's right. Yeah.
And do you not believe that a decade from now, internet, think about what your internet was a decade ago. Do you not believe that a decade from now, you won't be able to comfortably, sustainably
but this is why
access your stuff in the cloud. But we're not.
That's why I can't have that argument.
We're not preaching to the choir. We're talking to them.
I get that.
Talking to the people who have a concern. I am just saying, do you audience not think that 10 years from now cloud will be good enough for your old library that you're worried about losing a decade from now?
But even
and do you think
this very
PC
day,
won't be streamlined enough?
Look,
do you think the CEG movement won't grow?
No, that CEG movement is garbage and it won't go anywhere. Today, even today, you can buy a VHS tape if you so choose. My kids showed them to me. Look at this thing. I'm like, yeah, kid, this is how I used to watch movies all the time. I can still go and buy records, brand new records for tracks that just came out. It's not the main form of consumption of your media, but if I still wanted to do that, I can still do that in the year of our Lord 2024. So that's why I can't go be the world where it's just gone and no one, it doesn't exist, because in all these other examples, even if you're the only one that likes it, there's still room for you to like it, and they still cater to you even today. So I don't see why that's a thing. Please finish.
So I see someone, they made the Sega reference, right? I don't know if you know this. Wait a minute.
Sega was
I don't know if you know this. Sega still exists.
Yes, they do.
Right? And do you believe that Microsoft is going to shut down Game Pass,
and just walk away?
Right? Or do you believe they're going to walk away from this whole cloud thing?
Yeah.
Right? Like I just don't think, in my opinion, it is realistic to think you're going to lose access to your library. I really don't. And so if it's not losing your library, then what you're basically doing is you're it's about the list war. right?
And karate laundromat. I hear you on that. That is a good point. Let me cue you into another one. That is GOG. Yes, it's true that a lot of it was lost, but they have been systematically bringing a lot of that old school stuff that was only available on floppies, only available. They're all being brought back. And yes, you'll say, I have to rebuy my library. They're like $2, bro. Like where they used to cost you $30, $40 because they were brand new. Now you can play the OG Fallout that you used to have on 18 floppy disks, and it's like $2, bro. Right? So there is a way. There is a will. There is a way. Like I think we are all in rigorous agreement here on this panel that, you know, yes, change is difficult and change is messy, and but it is necessary to keep this thing moving forward, and you gonna be all right. Just breathe, right? If you really want that physical media that you put into a device, you will always have that. Like you will always, like digital receipts on the table. I don't think there's a world where like one day, generation 2, 3 generations from now, where an Xbox doesn't exist. Who makes it, how it's made, logistics, that's the mushy middle. But there will always be an Xbox.
Let me also call fraud alert on myself, because
go ahead.
if Halo or Gears ever goes to the PlayStation, I will
This
be
is
right in the
options on that.
streets with everybody.
And when that happens, because you hear me, when that happens, and y'all are sitting there holding the picket signs, I'll be eating my popcorn, laughing at y'all, because it is what it is.
They can go to every place else. I'd play Halo on a fridge. Just don't.
See, then at least you're admitting your console warriorness.
Absolutely, and I have no problem admitting that.
And I'd be the same if I ever see Mario. I don't even care if it's on PC. I don't want to see Mario anywhere that's not a Nintendo product or mobile at the very, like, you know.
Hey, Mario has been on mobile. So you might as well start your petition signs now.
Know how much money they would make if I could get
they don't
a Mario
count.
game
They don't
on
count
Steam?
Look. We already had Nintendo try to transition into PC with Mario teaches typing. That's as far as we needed to go. Oh my
God. How long was that? That was 1.5 million years ago. JD Gamer, $5 super chat. He says Matt and the team basically said that they will use the money from PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo ports to continue to fund and bring more of your favorite games.
Okay, that's another point. That's a great point, JD Gamer. Here's this other question that I would ask. You know, if this strategy means the business becomes even more sustainable, and it means they can fund more South of Midnight and Hellblade 3 type of games, right? Isn't that a win? Especially if you care about the prestige of having something that's only on your platform, at least at launch. Like some people care about it. You don't have to empathize, Kay. If you care about that prestige, you're still going to get that on day one. What does it matter down the line if somebody else gets it, if it allows you to continue to get Call of Duty and stuff like Fable in your
Speaking of exclusives, let's move on to the Nintendo Direct. Because I have a feeling Don Otaku has a lot of conversation. He has a lot of thoughts on the old Nintendo Direct. And I'm not going to go through all of it, but, you know, obviously there have been people out there talking about, the Nintendo Direct saved E3 and all of this, which hilarious.
Cut it out.
Cut it out,
Chris.
You know, that whole thing.
Cut it out, Jason.
But what I will say, though, is like for those who have an irreverence for that source material, for those who are all about, remember when I first played Zelda that first time or Metroid or whatever, they really, really hit you in the nostalgia feels. And a lot of Nintendo people were super happy, right? A lot of them. If you don't have that prior relationship with Nintendo, I don't think you were quite as happy. Like, I don't know if he's still in the chat, Infinite Umbra. I was listening to him speak on it a couple days ago. I think it was on the Infinite podcast yesterday. Like he saw some things he liked, but I remember him saying he doesn't have the same kind of touch point with Nintendo properties as some people do. And for him, the show was okay. It wasn't like blown away amazeballs. I see he's here, right? It wasn't amazeballs. It was cool. Some things were cool. Metroid Prime looked like Xbox One Halo, right? And if Microsoft showed you Xbox One Halo, they'd be tarred and feathered in the goddamn streets. But with that, Nintendo won E3. You know what I mean? So they've tapped into that nostalgia
Metroid
vein
Prime did
hard.
Look good.
But it looks good for a Nintendo game. It does not look good for the world we live in today.
Graphics? Look at this.
It's relative. It's always relative.
It's all relative.
It's these PC guys, man.
Oh, see, I love how Everborn likes the code switch on me real quick. Even though his PC arguably is more powerful than mine now, because his processors are, I think, newer than mine. So there you go. He's got a bigger
console
beast than you see. Then he got to go console. Let's get the heck out of here with your PCMR BS. Anyway, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct real quick, because I think that a lot was said there, and I will let you have the first bite at the apple, Mr. Donataku. We saw additions to Nintendo and existing Nintendo franchises like the sports franchise, the Switch Sports, which was Wii Sports initially. We saw. I will say, I was rather super surprised and excited for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I was really surprised at that.
Can I say
I was
something
like,
about
wow.
that?
Yeah, go ahead.
For 1 second.
Yeah.
It looks super interesting, and it's seems like a puzzle solver kind of game mixed with action and everything. And they're using what they did for
Tears of the Kingdom.
No. What's the name? Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening. They use that, for the life of me, I don't know why they won't give this treatment to Link to the Past. They're just doing everything not to remake Link to the Past, but whatever.
Oh, and by the way, Don, even though y'all are mortal enemies, you're talking to Everborn, the lover of Zelda Saga. He is like Zelda man number one. So you got that. Please continue, Everborn.
Right. So super interesting, and I think it's it is a way to. I just don't know how I feel about the fact that there's no actual melee. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. You can pick up rocks and throw it at.
You can pick up rocks and throw it at him.
Those are projectiles, sir. Those are projectiles. Cut it out. It's weird that there's no melee, but it's
See, what weirds me out is we have how many entries in the Legend of Zelda series, and this is the first one where Zelda is the actual main protagonist. That's weird to me. I don't know. I was like, 20 Zelda games, and finally one that's featuring Zelda as an actual protagonist.
But you know what? I think this is the way you do it, right? Because it cements her for her own kind of gameplay. It's not like we're slapping a Zelda skin on Link and just calling it a day. Right?
Look, I will give the flowers. And I won't hit the play button because them ninjas are terrible. I don't like the Nintendo ninjas. Forgive me. I won't hit that play button.
You're lucky they even letting you show the thumbnail.
Hey, I might get you if you see this. If you see this later in the stream and it's blurred out, you know why. It is what it is. I'm just saying, like, these ninjas, they move differently. But I will say, like, credit to them where they deserve. The reason why I always call it the Abacus and the reason why I always call them out is not because I think it's trash. I think they hamper, to a certain degree, they hamper their genius creative visions of these developers. And Zelda here, Echoes of Wisdom, proves that. The way she traverses the environment, the ideas on display to handle foes. I think it's inspired. Like, wow. Like, why haven't people thought of this before? You basically clone all the various stuff you find in the environment and then use it later to traverse certain divides. Brilliant move, and I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Donataku, sir, I know this was you. You probably had the popcorn out. You told the people to leave you alone. You were watching this whole thing. What is your highlights from this showcase, sir?
Yeah, so actually going into it, I had low expectations because of the directs that we had already seen where it's the end of life for the Switch, and as we've seen with the Wii and the 3DS, they usually, or not the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS, they usually in the last year of their consoles, they basically just leave it to like they just leave it to die and start working on the next one. And that last year is just garbage. Like they probably throw out a few little remasters, and then they are like, okay, here you go. But usually they don't have a lot for the users when it comes to that last year of their consoles. Mm-hmm. So I think that this direct shows that they have learned their lesson when it comes to that, because especially with the success of the Switch, they needed to keep that going into the next Switch, keep giving people reasons to be like, hey, this is why you have this Switch, this is why you love Nintendo. And I thought that we were just gonna get I thought they were really just gonna focus on remasters and remakes to just tide us over until they just save all of their new games for the Switch 2 announcement.
Sir, this is the Nintendo show. This is not this is not the PlayStation show. Nintendo show. I'm sorry. Small slander for me. Continue.
Because prior to this direct, the only new game that we have had this year was Princess Peach Showtime. Yep. Everything else has been remakes, remasters, collections. So that's what I'm like, okay, that's basically going to be the rest of the year. So I was going in not really expecting any new games as far as this go. So just the highlight, when they opened up with Mario and Luigi Brothership, that was already like, oh, they had this in the tuck. And Don, they weren't saving this for Switch 2.
Sorry, just not to cut you off, but I want to ask you a question for you to continue with. I have a theory, and I wanted to know what you thought about this specifically.
Okay.
What if the tinfoil Kofi's on right now? What if half of the games that you saw that you thought they would have saved for the Switch 2 are in fact gameplay from the Switch 2? And because when they say, okay, Metroid Prime is 2025, I feel like that's going to be a launch title on the Switch 2, right? And the reason you're seeing them go so hard, like in the paint, is because one, we're basically getting the Switch launch lineup, Switch 2 launch lineup, and because they're not going to walk away from the existing Switch, a lot of the games, not all, but a lot of the games are going to be forwards and backwards compatible. And so do they want to sell that new Zelda to the 20 million that'll buy the Switch 2 in the first couple of months, or do they want to sell it to the 200 million by the time it's all said and done?
One little note that I'll add to agree with you on that, and I'll let Don respond, is that could also explain why they send the ninjas out, and the ninjas like quashed 80% of the emulation market, because they know they're not changing a damn thing from Switch 1 to Switch 2. And if they let those emulators sit, that means you're still going to be able to, the best place to play those games will not be Switch 2, it'll be on the PC. Right. So let's kill them now in the crib before we allow Switch 2.
And I also think that the purpose of the Switch 2, it will just be to bump the hardware so they can get the third-party games, but their first party will be backwards and forwards compatible with the OG Switch.
The Switch 2 is PS4 Pro to the PS4. That's what I think. And that's the reason why a lot of this is happening. Don, sir.
All right.
We're giving you a lot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. To respond to that, so when it comes to backwards compatibility, I expect full backwards compatibility with the Switch, physical and digital. If they'll basically do what they have done with all of their handhelds, where it'll be except for the DS, where they had 2 slots, but for the DS and 3DS they had 1 slot, but you would be able to put the DS games into the 3DS, but you would not be able to put the 3DS games into the original DS. They'll change it slightly so that the newer games will not be able to fit in the older system. And with that, I do not think that there will be
Craven
a
moves,
forward.
man. Craven moves.
Yeah. I do not. I don't believe that they'll do forward compatibility, for a couple of reasons. Because yes, the Switch has sold a lot, and that is a big user base that they probably don't want to. That you could say, yeah, they don't want to leave that behind. But at the same time, we've seen with the PS4 and the Xbox One how hard it is to get some of these last gen gamers to switch over to the current gen, and it's because they have so much cross gen games, so many cross gen games, so many live service games that are just still working on the previous hardware, that it's been they really haven't had a reason to switch. We know Nintendo is old school. They are stuck in their way. It takes them a while to pivot, and especially when it comes to following the rest of the industry, I don't think that we'll see a ton of cross-gen. I think it'll be the same as we usually see, one or two games that are really, it's been just one game. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be one of those games that is going to be cross-gen with the next Switch. But then also I think we'll see a 3D Mario at launch that is also going to be cross-gen. And then from then on, we'll just go how every other Nintendo generation has been, where the Switch 2 will have nothing but it'll be Switch 2 games only. As far as third party, they'll be able to release simultaneously Switch and Switch 2 games. But as far as Nintendo first party, they'll most likely just be going Switch 2 from probably after the first year, if even not at launch.
So a quick aside, you think this is going to be called Switch 2?
Oh, no, because it's Nintendo, and they
Super
will
Switch?
find. Yeah, any name that you think sounds good, I think it'll be not that. So yeah, when it comes to Nintendo, I don't expect them to actually have a name that anyone would think of when it comes to the successor of the Switch. They will find some way to just avert expectations. So yeah, as far as the name goes, I think hopefully they can at least market it to the point where it actually is feeling like, oh, this is a new console. This is not a Wii U situation.
The Switch U. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out dumb ideas now.
But yeah, that's how I feel.
But what was your highlight? What was your highlight for the show?
Just picking one, it was definitely Mario and Luigi, like I was saying before.
Okay.
I've really been in my Mario RPG bag right now, and the Mario and Luigi series have actually been some of my favorites out of all the Mario RPGs, the Paper Marios, the Super Mario RPGs, because of the unique overworld platforming mechanics and puzzle solving mechanics that they've always had while you're switching between the two brothers. But the crazy part about Mario and Luigi Brothership is that the developer of the Mario and Luigi series, Alpha Dream, shut down. They went bankrupt in 2019. They were second party, as some people like to call them. They were a third party developer who solely only made these Mario and Luigi games for Nintendo. That was basically the only thing that they ever put out. And after Bowser's Inside Story, which a lot of people considered the best in the series, in the 3DS era, they started to put out remasters of the first game. Then they did another remaster of the Bowser's Inside Story, and a lot of people was like, this just doesn't make sense. The first one, okay, yeah, it was a GBA game, but it really didn't sell well. And then the Bowser's Inside Story was like, this game it was like the Last of Us remake situation. It's like, who asked for this? This is such like, it hasn't even been that long since this game came out, and it's literally DS to 3DS. It's not like this is some big leap in hardware capabilities. So both of those games bombed, and we were just like, why aren't you making a new Mario and Luigi game? And because of that, they ended up going bankrupt, because though they were banking on those two games. It's not like the Mario and Luigi series was like these big hits, which I'm pretty sure if they were to have made a Switch game, because another thing is that Bowser's Inside Story came out after the Switch launched, and it was on the 3DS still. So that was a part of the reason that they ended up going bankrupt. So now seeing this new Mario and Luigi game, and it's looking stunning in a big leap from what we got on the previous game on the DS. It really looks like, yes, this is what a transition from a DS to a Switch game should look like. But we don't know who's developing this, because obviously it's not Alpha Dream, who has been making it before. So there's a little like mystery that people have been going into, like, man, who's making this? Is this Grezzo, who does like the Legend of Zelda games? But no, they're probably doing the Echoes of Wisdom game. And then some people are pointing out ILCA, who does the Pokemon remakes and remasters that we've been seeing on the Switch. So there's a lot of people trying to speculate like who's making this game. But at the same time, this game looks like everything I loved about the Mario and Luigi series, but just leveled up to fit the Switch as a home console / handheld hybrid.
I mean, I'll tell you, my son, this was his highlight, and he's a big Mario cat, so this was absolutely his highlight. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, I don't know if you watched the whole show. You may have. I was partial to Donkey Kong Country Returns. I love that series. What was your highlight, sir?
I'm gonna go with Metroid Prime 4, because again, it did give me that the CE vibes. And you know, they have been talking about that game for like a damn near a decade,
and a day,
right?
Bro. Forever and a day.
7 years
Right.
announcement.
Yep.
Right. And so I thought that was great. Zelda looks super interesting. Mario and Luigi was a surprise, because I have not played any of those, so I didn't know like what to expect from it, but it looks super interesting. And again, I'm a sucker for a 2D platformer, so the Donkey Kong game caught my attention. And then what was super interesting was we saw Lego Horizon there, didn't we?
Yes, we did, sir. Yes, we did. Are you gonna be messy like Hargeet? I saw Hargeet in the chat a minute ago. Are you gonna be messy like Hargeet and be like 10 out of 10? They're going multi-plat.
No. But more seriously, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And maybe that's
we
a
will
good
transition.
segue.
That is where we're transitioning to the gamers conversation, because I really want to have that talk right now. Yes, I do.
Everything
I do.
Except Xbox.
Except
It's
Xbox.
great.
That's
It's
right.
great that it's coming back. So to me, the highlight was absolutely Metroid. And then, you know, Zelda. I'm intrigued. I will see how I survive with no melee, but you know, we'll get there. And then Donkey Kong. But the idea that I thought the show was fantastic, but the idea that it came excuse me, anywhere close to the Xbox show is show.
Just to speak on that, there's definitely
Please, go ahead.
a lot of disingenuous takes around. I mean, I'm not gonna say everyone is disingenuous. Some of these journalists who were saying that E3 was saved by Nintendo. We know that they have like a lot. I ain't gonna say no names, but some of them definitely have a bone to pick with Microsoft and Xbox. And I don't think anything Nintendo, no matter how good or bad this Nintendo Direct was, they probably would have still said that. But yeah, they're always looking for a chance to not give Xbox the win. As far as it goes, Xbox is head and shoulders above the showcase that they did, head and shoulders above anything that has come out this summer as far as showcases go, including the Nintendo Direct. And that's me, the Mr. Nintendo, as people call me.
Yeah, so even you have to bend the knee and show some respect on that. I appreciate that, sir. I appreciate that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, the magic of the Xbox showcases is that even games that I'm like, man, this looks interesting, but it would, like, if I'm going into a PlayStation showcase or a Nintendo showcase, I'm usually like, yeah, this looks interesting, but would I buy this? But then when you see something that looks interesting and you see that Game Pass at the end of it, you're just like, oh, yeah, this is day one.
Yep, like playing it.
Yeah, right. Like I'm playing it. There is a few games in this Direct where I'm like, this looks interesting. I know for sure most likely I'm not getting it day one. I'm not buying this at launch. But when you go into the Xbox showcase, you just have a totally different feeling and different perspective when you see
they're doing different things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're appeasing a different audience. They're feeding your need for what you will be playing on Game Pass versus, oh, consumer, come here and see what other $70 games you might be purchasing, or come here and look at what other old regurgitation of game that we're going to rebrand and make you pay money for once again. You know, they're doing different things. I completely agree with you on that. And I think that's their win. That's when anybody says, hey, what's their identity now that their games are going everywhere? I'm like, no, that's their identity. That they are a diversity of content in addition to AAA. And guess what? It's all that large swath of it is day one for you to try on Game Pass, right? I think that's who they are now. Voidlock, spot out super chat. He says Zelda doesn't have physical attacks unless he uses her Sheik form. Even in Smash, she only uses magic. So yeah, I guess what he's saying is it's a historical eventuality that she would not be using any kind of melee or any kind of like physical attacks because she never really has, you know, which makes sense, right? If there's one bit of credit I'll give Nintendo, they take care of their IPs. They make sure they follow cadence. They follow, you know, you're not gonna see Zelda all of a sudden now grabbing the sword and shield because she's never grabbed the sword and shield. So, you know, we may want to see that because we want to see.
Well, it's a good time to start.
We saw Princess Peach with a sword. We saw Princess Peach doing kung fu.
We did. That was a whole different situation. Yes, but what we saw there though, technically was her acting because it's all on a stage, right? That's what we saw. We saw her acting, just like Mario Brothers 3, which most people don't know. That whole thing was a play, right? That's why the screen opens
Mario
up. Mario
2 was a dream. Yes. The whole thing was a dream.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, I want to ask you a question. I've wanted to ask you this question for a long time.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Peach leaving Mario on the moon after Mario Odyssey? After you went all around the world, built the ship just to go save her.
Yep.
And then she leaves you on the moon with Bowser, taking your ship that you built.
Peace. You love me, right? Bye.
Yeah.
Risk your life.
Yeah. You know, these girls ain't loyal. You know, we don't.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
You know, we'll
I appreciate the PG-13. That's good. That's good.
I ain't gonna go
Peach has been dead to me since 2017.
Yeah. I was definitely like, oh, for real? Like that? When it happened, like all this? And it's crazy because she was like, she was with it until Bowser and Mario started fighting, and then she was like, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go hang out with Luigi.
What did you think was gonna happen? You're getting forcibly kidnapped, right? if you could talk your way out of this, you wouldn't be up here on the moon about to be a mail order bride. And so he came there to defend your honor, and you just leave him there?
My honor does not need defending. Excuse me while I take your keys
what are you
out your
doing up
pocket
here?
and peace out.
Here's the real truth that people don't want to talk about. She was with it, and she wanted to marry Bryce.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, absolutely. This should be the analyzing.
What did Voidlock say?
Mario is a simp.
Not a single. He said something that not a single soul has ever said about Sonic. But go ahead, Don.
Oh, damn! You see what happened? You see what just happened?
You know, I can't even say anything.
Exactly.
I really can't say anything about that.
Anyway, stop it, bro. So with 512 people in here right now, thank y'all once again. Between Twitter and YouTube, we appreciate y'all on the Everborn Saga channel, on my channel, on Twitter. Like, it's awesome that y'all are here and watching us and participating with us. Please hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Consider subscribing. Consider being a member if you have not done so. Your membership fuels us. We're going to Germany. Well, I'm going to Germany. I was trying to get Everborn to come with me, but you know he's got to be at the booth at NYCC on booth
and I got a house to renovate.
You know, so you fuel the channel with all of your patronage, and we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. But let's get to the conversation that I've wanted to have all week, which is gamers. And what crystallized that conversation for me was the Marvel versus Capcom Fighting Collection arcade classics. Oh boy, what a mouthful. But yes, I think I could play this one, right? This is third party. I could play this one. The ninjas ain't gonna come from
Try it if you want.
What do you think? I'm gonna try it. I know it's got a logo on the corner.
That's from Nintendo's channel. I don't know. You're done.
It might be. We shall see.
You know what? They're commandeering all the super chats for the rest of the episode.
I know, right? They're just gonna be like, your channel now belongs to us. Give me the password. You know.
Yeah,
but this
30%.
this sent the world in a tizzy. As soon as this happened, I was like, well, because I started taking bets with people. How long it would take after the Xbox showcase and how great that was and all that, when the FUD would seep back into the conversation, when people would once again go, what's the L? What's the L? And here we go again. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that this game exclusively is not coming to Xbox. It's coming everywhere else. You can buy it on the PlayStation. You can buy it on your PC. You can buy it on your toaster. You can buy it on your Switch. You could buy it on. I heard somebody ported it to a freaking tampon, but it's not coming on the Xbox console. Now, many articles have been written about it. Shout out to Jez Corden. He also put an article out on it, which people are talking about as well. But the update, he put an update out there with the idea that, hey, it's most likely the old engine that they have, making it more difficult to port it to Xbox. Obviously there's cost importing both the
MT framework.
The MT framework, the NT framework engine right here. There's costs associated with porting games from older engines to various platforms. And it looks like the math that they took, and I suspect like there's all there is rumor and speculation about here, right? Even this was not confirmed. It was confirmed in the background, but there has not been a spokesperson that comes out full force and says, oh yeah, this is what happened. So it's all rumor and speculation on our part. But I suspect that because there are costs associated, whether small or medium or large, the business decision was made to basically deal with nostalgia. Like the people on Xbox are not big enough to warrant the nostalgia hit versus PlayStation and Switch and Steam, right? And I'll let y'all give your thoughts. My thought on the matter is, to me, this is like still complaining that Square Enix won't put their games elsewhere when we already know that they will, and they're just basically letting the rest of the contracts finish out, right? These are decisions that are made years in advance. They did not wake up last week and go, no Xbox for you. They didn't do that. This was done 2 years ago, right? So And now today, the world of today compared to the world of 2 years ago, as far as Xbox's perception, is a big difference, right? I understand that, right? Decisions that are being made today won't materialize for you for 2 years from now, right? And we live in a post Hellblade 2, post Gears of War E-Day, E3 June showcase that blew people's wigs back. A lot of that stuff wasn't in the sauce 2 years ago, right? So I understand a lot of the business reasons thinking behind it. I guess my question is, did anyone, and we may never know the answer to this, did anyone ever reach out to Microsoft and go, hey man, would you guys be okay funding this so that we can bring it to you as well? And if that was the case, did they say yes or no? Because even there, I can see a righteous reason for either or. Because let's be clear here. This is not moving 20 million units. It's just not. It's just not, right? It's a subset of our community. If you're watching this, you probably are the people they're speaking to. The old school cat, the ones that Nintendo don't what Genesis does. You're that cat. You remember a lot of these games from the PlayStation. You got that quote era,
wrong, but we're going to allow it so that you can continue.
See, I never cared. So that never really was a thing for me. My bad. Forgive me. And I lived in Europe at the time. So y'all, I was eating my popcorn, watching the Americans fight.
Look at you with your pinky in the air. Oh, I didn't care about the console wars as a kid. I was in Europe.
Well, you have to understand, at that time too, I was broke as a joke. So I couldn't play on these consoles. Like, I think I had a Nintendo first, and then my dad thought it was horrible and took it away from me. Jehovah's Witness, the whole thing. Let's not continue, though. A whole different thing. Needless to say, this is not for mass consumption. It just isn't, right? It will be beloved by those who remember them, but this will not garner a huge swath of a new audience. So I think calculations were made to suggest that we'll put it to the biggest pools of gamers now. And maybe Xbox was asked and then went, you know what? 2 years from now, our bangers are going to be undeniable. We don't need this. And as such, they may not have wanted to pay for it, right? Now, this is just one side of the equation. We'll add the Black Myth Wukong conversation into it a little later. But from the top, Don, what are your thoughts? Is this a black eye in your eye, or when this happened, what was your first take on it?
Yeah, so this was actually one of the highlights of the show for me because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was a big game for me. And the whole free Marvel vs. Capcom movement, that was a whole thing online trying to get these games onto modern hardware because there was no way to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And we weren't even talking about X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and all these other games that they brought into this collection as well. It was really just Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So seeing all of this was a really great announcement. And because of that, I do see this as a black eye. I understand the business of it. I understand that these games have been in the works for a while and that they can't just with a snap of the finger just be like, oh yeah, let's we actually well, with this one it was the MT framework. If that's true, the MT framework was the reason, and there's a lot of information, or not information, but evidence backing that claim because of the Mega Man Battle Network that was MT framework, the Monster Hunter Stories MT framework. A lot of the Capcom ports that have missed Xbox have been because of the MT framework. So I can definitely see a lot of evidence that points to that. And then you see games that would most likely sell a lot less than this game, like Ace Attorney Investigations Collection coming to Xbox. So I do believe that is the issue with this one. But at the same time, I see games like the Romancing Saga 2 that was announced, the remake of that was announced at Square Enix. And then that's coming to everything except for Xbox. And yes, they can't. At that time, Square Enix, most likely at the time when they were making this game, Square Enix was in their phase of not supporting Xbox. and they can't just after the triple handshake on stage, after the Final Fantasy 14 online,
after the Morphin handshake, the mighty Morphin handshake. That's right.
You know, after that, they could have just be like, oh yeah, let's just get Xbox versions going right now.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
But at the same time, I still see it as a black eye because I don't think it should have ever got to that point in the first place. Where there are third-party developers who aren't supporting Xbox just because they don't see any viability in the platform. And that's the reason that I think this is a black eye for Xbox. Not saying that today's Xbox is the same as they were back then, but I don't think it should ever get to
and you know what though? You know what? And not to cut you off, but maybe this is where I'll put my tinfoil Koofy hat on real quick and say this is also a little bit about creative competition that Sony has been really good at. Those certain key games that would garner interest in that in the platform, they make sure they money hat off. So eventually it becomes a perpetual cycle. So if you're an indie or a smaller budgeted game and you're looking at your money and you're looking at it, you'll go, those don't sell there anyway, because the key ones were never allowed to be there. So that does not bring the audience to it. So now by default, Sony gets everything, you get nothing. You know what I mean? Yep. I feel like a little bit of that is in the sauce there as well. Please continue.
Yeah, I always said that it was the cycle when starting with Final Fantasy 13 and the 360, we started to see these JRPGs on the platform. I wouldn't say that they sold like really good, but there was an audience there on the 360 who wanted those games. And then when it came to the Xbox One, we got the Final Fantasy 15. It broke over 1 million on Xbox, which even like for the Xbox One, I still think that is a pretty good attach rate for that game. But then after that, we got nothing from Square Enix.
Look at the slander. Look at the slander. I did not even see this. When everybody plays, Xbox gets skipped.
So PlayStation started to money hat these Square Enix games. They had Atlas, they had RGG, the Yakuza games, all of these Japanese games, the biggest Japanese games at the time, were only on PlayStation. And so the Xbox One audience who wanted those games had to go over to the PS4 to get those games. And because they went over to the PS4 to get those games, when other JRPGs would launch on the Xbox One, they weren't there anymore. They were like, oh, now these games don't sell, so we'll stop putting our games over there also. And it was a perpetual cycle of
smart move, right? Smart move from Nintendo, from PlayStation.
PlayStation, I'll definitely give it, when it comes to taking down competition, when it comes to we saw the PS1, PS2 era of PlayStation. They were monsters when it came to competition. They wanted to be the only one in the room at all times, and they will do anything to do that.
I don't disagree. So let's add, and you've already added a few other nuggets as far as the missing. Let's add Black Myth Wukong into the mix, right? That was also recently, and this one has a sore spot for a lot of people, because like as far back as you saw this thing, it was marketed to coming to everything. You saw logos, and you can pull them up right now. You saw logos from all avenues, from all various platforms, all being represented in their marketing until just recently. And now the official word, officially from the Black Myth Wukong team, is that it's been delayed due to optimizations, right? But then, of course, as he does, the great Jez Corden goes out, does a little bit of sleuthing, asks some healthy questions. And what does Xbox say? Their spokesperson says to the effect of, let's see. Let's start from the top, right? The Black Myth Wukong team said, we are currently optimizing the Series X and S versions to meet our quality standards. That's game science. So it won't release simultaneously with other platforms. We apologize for the delay and the aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards, right? So not only is it delayed, but it's delayed and we're going to skewer you in the process and put in doubt that you meet that currently it meets our quote unquote quality standard. Not to be outdone, when asked about it for Xbox, right? And shout out to Jess Corden for doing the legwork. What did they say? The Xbox rep says, we're excited to launch of Black Myth Wukong on the Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our other platform partners on other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that. AKA, we ain't gonna talk about the money haddock, but there's a money haddock. So,
by the way, I just wanted to say that Jess Corden did say he never brought up anything about exclusivity deals. He just said, he basically just asked why. Why is this not on Xbox? And they
so it looks like it looks like the Xbox rep just kind of went, give me a moment, took a grenade out of his pocket, and then gave it to Jess Corden. That's literally looks like what happened here, because he knew what he was saying when he said it exactly this way. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, what are your thoughts of the new machinations that's going on through here? And then we'll broaden it to a conversation of how the gamers are feeling about it.
Unpopular opinion. I don't care. And the reason I don't care is the game is delayed.
I'll keep the pinky in the air. I'll keep the pinky in the air because he won't show you his pinky's in the air, but his pinky's in the air right now, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Continue, sir.
I mean, I will be playing the game on the 4090. That is part of the reason I don't care. However, I will say, I really, it rubs me the wrong way that as a community, we can pretend to be upset at Sony for a money hat. When at the same time we don't, and I'm saying me specifically, I don't have an issue with consolidation as far as we've seen it. So if you spend money to get a game exclusive, that's just them's the breaks. And so if they were smart enough to see Black Myth Wukong and see the hype around it, the same way they saw the hype with Shift Up's game, Stellar Blade, and they went after it, then good on them.
It's good that you bring up Stellar Blade, because I think this is very much Stellar Blade like, and why it rubs people the wrong way is because it was already previously announced and marketed as day one, as they're all coming. It's almost like and Don is talk about he's played what do you call it, what's the car game, the darn it, I'm losing it, the car game that you play, the multiplayer epic card game. Car soccer. Come on, you know.
Oh, Rocket League. Rocket League. Sorry,
Rocket League. Forgive me. It's almost like the ball is in the middle, right? The cars are all on the outside. You have Xbox here. You have PlayStation here. They all saw the marketing. They all just kind of stood their ground and went, "Are we gonna let this one just kind of be multiplat? Maybe we are. Yeah, sure we are." And then everyone did their announcements. Everything was going good, and then out of nowhere, Sony went mine, and now people are mad. That's not. I don't
because
like usually. That.
I don't like that. Because
usually, though,
I don't like.
No, I get that. I know. I'm speaking more from a surrogacy, as a consumer surrogate perspective. Usually, these deals are made before you even see the game. So when the game comes out, hey, this belongs here. Hey, this belongs there. Like you say, them's the breaks. This one looks like it was out for all to see. Everyone was excited at the same time, and then last minute, just like Stellar Blade, swipe. And that's what seems to be upsetting the community. Please, everyone. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
What I'm saying is you shouldn't be upset about it. So what? Right? Not after that showcase. Not after all the games you know that you have to play just this year alone. Right? And we don't even know. Like, I get that that's what the rep said. But what the only evidence that we have, hard evidence aside from speculation, is what Shift Up said. I'm sorry, not Shift Up, Game Science said, which is they're still trying to optimize the game. And so in either case, it is not the end of the world that I feel like everybody's making it out to be, just like the Marvel versus Capcom thing is. So what if they are struggling on the Series S? So what? Right? The game will come out. This is not something that is that you're just never gonna get, right? They don't have the rights for it. It's not like Sony is publishing the game. This is a Baldur's Gate 3 situation, not a Stellar Blade situation. So if you gotta wait a couple of months extra or whatever it takes, they want your money. They're gonna put it out. A lot of people like the game. It's just like we don't have to create this whole thing. And even if we're not creating it, even if it's not in our heads, so what? Are you mad that Xbox is getting Stalker 2 early? A few days after Black Myth Wukong is coming out? I just really feel like the timeline is addicted to negative. It's just this negative feedback.
No doubt.
Of people
No doubt.
crying about anything. Give me something to be mad at today. Right?
Although I will say, just like my thumbnail suggests, you can't get PlayStation Nintendo people plussed on anything. They're just happy. I'm playing 12 frames per second.
This is why
my games are amazing.
This is why I wanted to ask Don if he's running a Nintendo podcast, because I wanted to know if his Nintendo podcast is focused on hating on Sega all day, because that's how these other podcasts go.
But how would it be focused on hating on Sega? Sega's not around to be hating on like that.
Yeah, Sega's a partner.
They're not
We love Sega on our Nintendo Switch. We love that Sega brings their games to our platform.
So okay, look, Everborn Saga. While I wholeheartedly agree with you, and you know I do, I think this whole back and forth is ridiculous. I will not push back, but I'll play the devil's advocate a bit and say, if this was Everborn Saga of 2 years ago, I think we'd be hearing a different Everborn Saga, because that'd be an Everborn Saga who was solely console focused.
No, honestly,
solely on the console.
It wouldn't be, and I'll tell you why.
Because now you're just like, oh, if this game hits different and it's got to be day one, I know where I'm playing it. It's all good, baby.
Yeah, but
right?
I could always, and listen, a lot of these hardcore people, a lot of the people that are complaining about this are hardcore people
Can also
have a PlayStation.
Sure.
We could
they at least have a Switch.
The whatever stuff.
Yes.
All I'm saying is the same thing I said with Baldur's Gate 3. I had Starfield to play. And if Baldur's Gate 3 was coming later, then it was just coming later. It doesn't matter if Sony played it up to release it right next to Starfield.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
Here's my question. What if it was a Sonic game? Because I feel like all the ones you're pulling at are games you specifically wouldn't be playing anyway, because they're not really in your zeitgeist. What if it was like the best Sonic game? Would you still have that same energy? It'll come, I'll play it later? Or would you be kind of a little...
Listen.
I'm just trying to understand the community.
Listen,
I don't care.
Right. One of two things happened. It was money-hatted, which we cannot complain about. I don't think we have the right to complain, not after acquisition season, right? Or the Series S is actually the problem. And not the problem, it just means they need more time to develop for it. In either case, I really don't think you have a leg to stand on.
All right. I will just say, before I gotta go
Understood.
Start up the podcast.
And I saw that.
I'll push back. I'll push back just a little bit on Everborn.
Yes.
When it comes to the money hatting of games that have already been announced for a platform, I feel like that's a different area than like, oh, the first time you see this game, you only see the PlayStation logo. Okay, cool. This, however, is a lot different because this is a very highly anticipated game. When it was Project Eve, the Stellar Blade, it was totally different because it was like, oh yeah, this looks cool, but it wasn't like at the level where we're like, oh yeah, everyone's excited about this. We have been excited about this game since the first reveal back in 2020, 2021, and something like that. And we've had the announcement of the platforms, and that has basically been one of the most anticipated games on Xbox, on PlayStation since then. So if we're going off of what the Microsoft representative said, if we believe that, yes, this was some kind of deal, it's a smart deal because, one, it basically puts even more emphasis on that Series S kind of being a bad decision that Microsoft made and holding back gaming, basically feeding that feeling that has been going around in the community. But also, it doesn't allow game science or PlayStation to take any of the I would say like the flack for it, because you could definitely say, like, if PlayStation was like, yeah, we got the marketing or we got the exclusivity of the game now, game science will probably be taking a lot of flack from Xbox gamers, saying, hey, like, why would you even take this deal? We were looking forward to this game, and they probably get like publicly flogged for that. And this is very strategic because no
when
one
all
takes
else
the flack
fails, blame
except for
the Series
Xbox.
S.
Yeah, everyone just blames Xbox, the Series S, whatever it is, and that's the only reason. That's the only one taking the flack, which is what PlayStation actually wants. So
yes,
this seems like something PlayStation would definitely do, but I still don't think this should be looked at as like a good thing or something that's on the level of acquisitions, because any game that Xbox already had platforms for never got taken away from PlayStation. So when it comes to say like, oh, really, Xbox could have took away Deathloop and made it Xbox exclusive. They could have took away Ghostwire Tokyo and made it Xbox exclusive.
But they did take away Starfield.
But we didn't have platforms. We never knew what platform it was coming to.
Cut it out. You knew it was going to come to the PlayStation. Stop this.
There was rumors that it was going to be exclusive to platform, but it was rumors. That's all it was.
Like, okay,
Well,
wait a minute.
See
Redfall. They said Redfall. They explicitly said they did it with Redfall. They were making.
Well, no. But again, I will stand on Don's side on this one. Like, even the Redfall. Did you read the article? Then you heard that, right? Starfield. Are you part of the Nintendo? Are you part of the gaming zeitgeist? Then you probably read that from one article or another. But these that we're talking about were officially shown off as trailers with Xbox logos. They were right there for Gen Pop to see, and then they were clawed back in one way, shape, or form, a la Stellar Blade.
Wait a minute. Sorry.
That's why I'm again trying to play the.
I get it.
I'm trying to play
Devil's
the.
advocate.
You know.
I get it.
I'm just trying. I'm trying.
Pixel. I am never playing the Sony apologist. I just hold the Xbox community to a higher standard. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't give a good goddamn about PlayStation or their fans.
See, and let me be clear here. I love my brother, Mr. Everborn Saga. I stand with him. I just feel like somewhere deep inside, because he's got options now, it's like
I've always had.
That's why I'm like the pinky. No. You didn't think it was an option until you made it.
No. But I've always had.
This is why the pinky's in the air.
Wait a minute.
And you've never used it.
Has always been here. That's
it.
fine, but so has the PlayStation. So I've always had these options. That has nothing to do. Having the option has nothing.
This represents his pinky that is currently in the air, right?
Yeah, and I will say that this will be the last thing before I head out. But I was always gonna play either the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. All of that was gonna get bought on PC. So PC is basically my my main platform. So yes, this is
even the Nintendo guy has to pay filthy. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
This doesn't actually affect me in any way because I will still be playing these games. But as far as the Xbox platform goes, I want to see it in the best position it can be, and I don't think that these games skipping the platform really puts it in a good position or a good light. And that's all I wanted to say.
So before you get out of here, Mr. Don Otaku, thank you so much for being here. Let's give him the proper outro. Do him. I know we kept you. We appreciate your time. You've lent your voice, and you've done the Nintendo contingency proud. I'm sure they're out there pumping their fists. Well, they're busy playing their game. They don't care. They don't care.
And I will say, Nintendo Direct, 8 out of 10. A lot of filler. Some BS in there that I definitely wouldn't play, but they said they had some highs. I was surprised by a lot of what I saw, so I just wanted to put that out there. It was good.
No, I appreciate you being here and giving us your honest takes. I will put his stuff in the chat right now. Go follow him on Twitter. That's the first link. The second link will be his YouTube channel. Mr. Don Otaku, sir, tell the people where else they can keep up with your ongoings. Tell us about your podcast before you get out of here.
Oh yeah, so you can find me on twitter.com/pastafeet, Don't ask why, that's my name. And you can find me console warring on there and making bad takes on gaming. But as far as my channel, find me on youtube.com, Don Otaku, as you see on screen. And we have the Project Untitled Gaming Podcast. That is where me and some lifelong friends talk about gaming, the industry, and we have an eclectic cast of really casual gamers up to the hardcore in the mix, like hardcore gamer such as myself. And we have a lot of different takes on every situation, a lot of arguing, definitely rated R, so keep your kids away. But yeah, definitely check it out. We are actually about to go live. So if it ends, if this ends, holla at me, come over, and we'll be talking about the Nintendo Direct and some other stuff as well. So appreciate y'all for having me on Asante Everborn. Been watching
the show. Keep the slander hot, man.
Yeah, I'll keep the slander on Sega, but Everborn, we love Sega on Nintendo. So I can't even front. At least when it comes to Atlas and RGG, Sonic Team, y'all can keep that. But everything else, we like that.
I'm not mad.
Thank you so much, brother.
Oh, yeah. And thank you again for having me on. Peace out.
Have a good one, man. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Everborn Saga, please, I know you have more to say. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, it is just like, I just wonder if we are Xbox community, if we are addicted to being a victim, right? And it's like at a certain point, right? Because this is what I see happening every time. The PlayStation.
Forgive me. I don't mean to cut you. I don't want the conversation to be lost. Let me catch up on 3 super chats that lend to this conversation, and we'll continue. Okay. Enigmatic Dreams, $5 super chat. Thank you for being here. And once again, salute to the 541 people watching this through all the various streams and all the various sources you are doing so. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Enigmatic Dreams, $5 super chat. He says, Xbox should have bought Square instead of ABK and given me my Parasite Eve HD and Harvest.
No, sir. They should have bought Sega. Next super chat.
Harvestella 1 and then a sequel on Xbox. See, everyone has the takes that they want, right? Voidlock with a $2 super chat. He says, name one multiplat that skips PlayStation that comes to Xbox. I think we already have one.
Wait a minute.
I mean, I think he means like role reversal. Right?
Okay, but there are several of those, and whose fault is that?
Well, I'll give him Pal World. That's one. Right.
But why not give him Stalker 2? Where did Death's Door initially launch?
Yeah.
And don't say, oh, that's a small game because it doesn't count because people are crying about Marvel versus Capcom.
I think the differences there are all those games you're describing are games that were announced with that plan already in place, and these and again, it doesn't really plus me at all. But I'm trying to understand where people are coming from, and it seems that because you saw an Xbox logo on it before, and it allowed you to get excited, and now they clawed that away from you for one reason or another.
But they didn't claw it away from you. You're going to get it a little bit later. All I'm saying is stand up. Stick your chest out.
Yeah.
Have some
No, I get it.
self-respect.
JD Gamer, $5 super chat. He says, I'm going to back Everborn on this one. Never ever take the foot off the neck of your enemy. Anyways, always compete every second, never let up ever. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I think that they may not be in that competing mode like they used to be. We want them to be, but they themselves may not be on that page anymore. They're seeing beyond that. At least that's what I see. But Everborn, Ness, I didn't mean to cut you off. Like they are by and large, as you see, are with you in this conversation. You know, some of them are with me, right? Look. My take on it wholeheartedly is, if you don't want any of this BS, if you don't want to have to deal with any of this crap, make sure you have some Steam enabled device somewhere. Then you never have to deal with this crap at all, right? So when it happens, you go, and you go about your day. That's my take on it. But I'm understanding that if this is your favorite, super exciting, you're in the Discords, you're in the Reddits, and you're writing, oh my God, I can't wait for that Black with Wukong, because, you know, we forget when this thing first came out, when the first trailers were dropped, they dropped with gameplay and it looked next level. People lost their ever loving, you know what, right? It really hit big, and that storm of excitement has carried it through its whole process, and here we are where we are now. So I kind of, in the smallest way, understand that if you now are going to be delayed from playing it, and of course, because of the grenade that has been launched here, right? We don't know for sure, but as it's read, I mean, come on, right? You can say it's lies, but we trust Jez Corden, and Jez, he always says that the stuff that he has confidence in ends up on Windows Central instead of just him talking about it on Twitter. And this is a Windows Central article. So, right, that grenade that's being launched is being launched. Whether it's being launched nefariously, whether it's not true, we can only take it at what is being provided here. And it sounds like there's a deal in the background, and they're using the Series S, my old beloved Series S. They're using that as a scapegoat and making people mad about it.
So what if they are? This is my whole question. Yeah. So what? What if there's a deal in place?
Yeah.
Right?
Why do you care?
We can't say exclusives matter and champion exclusives, and when we get an exclusive like Power World, we rub it in Sony's face, or Stalker 2, we rub it in the pony's face, and then they have something. Listen, you had to wait 3 months for Baldur's Gate, and some of you mother effers didn't even play Baldur's Gate yet, and you was crying about it back then. All I'm saying is, you do not see this in the reverse. You don't see the PlayStation guys crying whenever they don't get a game, or they don't. And yes, it happens less, but the point is you don't see it. And
to be fair, you don't see a multi-plat that's already been announced for all platforms then go exclusively to Xbox. I don't think that's happened once yet.
Okay, but it's not exclusive. They're telling you are getting the game. The game is delayed. If Baldur's Gate is anything to go by, which they wanted to get out of the way of Starfield, I don't care what they say, and I think they've admitted that by now.
That's true.
This may not be the case, but the point is, if Baldur's Gate, a similar situation, is anything to go by, you will be waiting months, not years, for this.
Yeah. And by the way, I hope my consumer surrogate mode has been sufficient. Like, I can't be really.
You don't have to like it, right? And all I'm saying is, even if there's a money hat in place, let's not pretend like money hats are bad. Because
I've always thought money hats were bad.
Listen. All the people that are trying to make a moral argument about money hats have petitioned Xbox to do more money hats. If we're going to be honest about it, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox lineup for the next 6. First of all, starting with Hellblade 2. The Xbox lineup for the second half of the year of our Lord 2024 blows the PlayStation lineup out of the water. And they got this one game for a couple of months early, and we making this whole big thing about it. And I'm just saying, at what point do you say, you know what? We got the next 24 months on lock, well fed, right? You're getting Flintlock in July, right? Stalker 2, you're getting a week after this game comes out. And so all I am saying, right? How many times does the Xbox community have to go back into the doom and gloom mode? Right? And if you don't like, and guess what? If you don't like, if you think there's some secret backdoor deal and Game Science is besmirching your beloved Series S at the behest of Sony, then guess what? Don't buy that game. Because they lied to you, if you believe they're lying.
Okay. And JD Gamer with another $2 super chat saying, by the way, Port Begging Pony still got no games. Thank you, sir. We need a shirt from you saying
no,
that
they don't.
at this point.
But you acting like you the one that don't got no games. Not you, but I'm saying the Xbox community.
He does say
not
though
JD Gamer.
that Halo was the same type of money hat. I don't recall that because they eventually just bought the whole studio. That's a different conversation, right? It's not a keep it off of another platform. They bought the whole studio. And that was actually a money hat from Mac because it was going to the Mac. Right? It wasn't announced for any consoles. It was just going to the Mac. And then Microsoft bought the studio.
So Live Supremacy says acquisition isn't the same as a money hat. No, it is not, but it is the same effect. Right? For you as the consumer, it's the same effect.
I don't know about that because it's one thing. It's one thing to assume responsibility for that studio, for it now to be part of your studio.
What does that have to do with you, the gamer, and your controller?
Well, yeah, but if that's the case, then what does the exclusive have to do with you and your controller? That's the same thing. The argument I've been making. If you're getting the game, who gives a crap where else it's going? That's the same argument. Right? Yes, I get that. I get that.
Listen, at the end of the day,
let's move this conversation forward.
I'll move it forward by saying this last thing. This is the last thing I want to say on this.
Yes.
This is the cycle of what happens every time, right? We're hyped. We see the plan. We see the future. We believe in the vision, right? And then some disingenuous PlayStation fans, whether they're in the media or not, they will come and string a narrative or try to point and make fun of you. And because
hook, line, and sinker.
Right. We fall for it every time. And then they make fun of us. And then we go get mad at Xbox for it. That does not happen in the reverse.
I guess my question to move the conversation forward is, what do we do to stop this from being a narrative moving forward? Because let's be clear.
Stop giving it oxygen.
This will once again happen. This will happen. People, decisions are made a long time before you actually see them come to fruition. There will be a game after game after game after game that will release on one platform that you like versus another platform that you don't like. It will happen again. It will happen, right? How is it, and this is why I'm talking about gamers in general, how is it that, people were crying grown man tears 5 minutes ago about how E-Day is coming, right? And then, well, not just E-Day, but all the amazing things that they drop. And then 5 minutes later, it's back to, huge L and Xbox is this and that and the third. We know this will happen again, either by the very nature of what we've discussed already, which is that Sony has done a good job in making some genres not viable on Xbox. They've done a good job in that. It's just fact, right? A few of the key titles never showed up there, so it didn't garner an audience. So now, whenever anybody else is looking at that, because they use historical information, the businesses do, to make influences as to where they want to put their stuff, they'll look at the Xbox's stable and go, not too many people play those kind of games anyway, and don't put it there. That is a part of the equation. So this too shall happen again. My question is, how do we stop all of this from being a thing?
You don't.
Everborn.
You don't stop it. All you can do is control yourself, and you don't give it energy. And again, I understand not liking it. Maybe you only game on Xbox. My issue here is that we in the Xbox community continue to let other people push our buttons. And we don't stand on business. Not like
Now,
they do. And
Oman GOW Plays Games says devs need to stop it. Don't blame fans for being upset. Now, the only caveat I'll put in there, Oman GOW, is I would say publishers, because I don't think this is a dev situation. It's more about those who control the money. But
wait a minute.
Yes, I hear your point.
Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. So don't blame the fans for being upset. Fans, you're upset. Okay. And maybe you only game on Xbox, so you actually don't have access.
See, and that used to be you, sir.
Okay. No, it was never only me, because I've always had a PlayStation, right? So what do I care if something goes there? But there's the principle of these things. All I am saying is, I don't think you have the right to complain about this if you are championing other non-first party exclusives. Right? Like, this is,
so if you're championing exclusives at all, you don't have a dog in the fight.
I don't think you should. Right? Tell Xbox to get good at exclusives. Don't make PlayStation the boogeyman. Right?
I don't disagree. See,
right?
But now you're talking like me, though.
No, hold on. No. But it is because I don't want to, like, look, I cheered on the Bethesda acquisition. I hoped for a Sega acquisition, or hoped for it. You know, I was in favor of ABK, right? I thought that these things, talk about it, Corey, Cosmos. You know, I was in favor of the ABK thing, right? We just looked at all the things that, as of now, appear to be exclusive from that show, and I was all about it, right? And everybody's in the streets running around when you got a Power World being the biggest game in the world and only on Xbox. You're going to be on September 5th running around when you're playing Stalker 2. You're going to rub it in their face. I just think if you're doing that, or you have done that, you don't have the right to pretend money hatting is a bad thing. And again, you also need to stop letting these disingenuous people put you into this doom and gloom mode. You just got what you have called the greatest showcase in the history of Xbox, which is damn near 25 years old. And now you back to dooming and glooming over a 20-year-old game that they're going to make you pay full price for, and a game that's delayed by a couple of months for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's not them. That's you letting them push your buttons. I don't care who don't like what I'm saying.
Speak with your chest, sir. Speak with your chest.
That's all I got to say on that.
Okay. No. I think I expected you to speak like this, because yeah. And the moment I saw this stuff come out, I was like, oh, we're gonna forget everything that happened, and we're gonna get right back to gloom and doom. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's a big L. And I see a lot of community, like people in the community who have a big voice, basically kind of stoking those fires, you know. And I think it's kind of stupid and ridiculous, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. So I will let you have that. I agree with you on that. This has never been a thing that I care about. But then again, there is some of that idea that, you know I'm in a privileged position. I understand that I'm able to play these games wherever I want to play them, you know, and because of that, maybe I'm nonplussed, and I might be a bit more ire ridden if the IP that we're talking about is something I really care about, and now it's not going to be on my system, or it's going to be delayed. I'm trying to understand. It doesn't really bother me. It is what it is, right? Before we get out of here, and I think we're at the bottom of it, but I saw this morning, and I thought I wanted to get your opinion on it. And this will be a short conversation because I know what you're going to say, sir. It looks like Sony is getting out of the PlayStation PSVR 2 business. it looks like
are they getting out? Or are they
inventory-
moving into the PSVR 2 PC business?
No one's buying it on PC, man. Like, because of all that, and I am your target audience, right? I've had a little bit of money waiting to buy this thing day one. I'm your target audience. And then I didn't get it because you didn't give me really good content. Then I was like, okay, when it comes to PC. And then because of the way that it was architected, right? All of its features are literally on the PlayStation. So when you separate it from the PlayStation, now HDR is gone, this is gone, eye tracking's gone. It just turns into a dumb device that the Quest 2 is already better at. Quest 3 is already better at, right? The stuff that it had over the Quest, it no longer has over the Quest when you play it on PC, because all those features are literally using the PlayStation as the brain to make that happen. So it's kind of sitting there. No one's buying it, even post PC enablement. You know, even I can't buy it. I can't justify it. Because if you were giving me all those features, then yeah, I want to try it out. I think it's awesome. Then I'll play it on PC and I'll play it on the PlayStation as well. But to make all of its features that make it great work, you have to use it on PlayStation. The minute you put it on your PC, which is far more performant, it loses like 60% of its capabilities. Kind of makes it null and void from that perspective. You know, it's kind of sad. What do you think, sir? Like I don't foresee this lasting past the holiday season.
I don't care category.
I suspected.
If it's not a cheaper Vision Pro or a Meta Quest, I don't want it. So
there you go. So that's the end of that. Then I expected this one to be a short. When I saw that, I was like, oh man, I was so excited for this thing. I really wanted it because if there's any game console maker that should be able to champion this thing, it's PlayStation. They make great hardware, right? They make comfortable, great hardware. If they can't make this work, oh man, I think VR is in trouble. Not in general. It's still, obviously, you have Meta out there doing good work, and you're telling me that the new update is looking good. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, this is unfortunate for me. I wanted them to take the money out of my pocket. That's what I wanted them. It was in there waiting for them. They refused to take the money out of my pocket. And now it looks like it's unfortunately dead. All right, let's catch up on the last super chat and then we will get out of here. And that comes from the great J Mac, $5 super chat. He says, take a page from the PlayStation playbook. They're giving you the blueprint. Use it, ignore it, bad news like they always do. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, sir. I hear what you're saying. Like, move on. Just focus on the good stuff. Let's not focus so much on the negativity, which seems to be what is seemingly happening in our community right now. They can't help themselves but focus on the negativity all the time. JD Gamer also here. He wants to be the one to have the last word. He says with a $5 super chat, stop letting grifters grift. With that said, pathetic poor pegging ponies still got no games, and we are getting Xbox handheld, and that's what stores are on it. Yes, which is true. Let's hope that these conversations about stores being on it.
Chat.
Yes, sir. It inoculates all these ridiculous conversations. Maybe we live in a world where in the next year or two, you get a handheld that then features those capabilities, and now you can just buy it on Steam, and you still get access to your Marvel versus Capcom collection that you so desperately are looking for. So I think we'll leave that conversation there. I enjoyed this conversation with you, sir. Shout out to the 543 people still rocking with us on all the various platforms that we are supporting. Once again, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on our YouTube channel. As you for those who are watching elsewhere, please consider becoming a subscriber. Consider becoming a member of this here fine channel. I'm considering dropping more technical content. I'm still working on one that I was working on in the background. I may drop that one soon in our feed so you guys can see. I will be dropping more technical stuff here and there just to kind of fill out some of the content that we've been doing on the channel. Follow us, be a member of our Discord. I put the Discord invite right in the chat right there. Please consider becoming a member of our Discord so we can have a lot more of these conversations. And also, not to be outdone, join us on the gamingcircle.com, which is a new website that we put together, a site that we're hoping to aggregate content and maybe get some more of the written word on there. You know, we want to make sure we spread our wings a bit more and do some more interesting stuff there. And of course, before we go, Soul Tech, great friend, $2 super chat. He says, hit the like button. Yes, I hope you guys do that. Please hit that like button. Let folks know that we're here. Let folks know that we do this every Saturday morning. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, I appreciate you having this great conversation with me. Let the people know where they can continue to keep up with your ongoings. When will we be able to play that early access demo, sir?
I got a ways to go. There's a lot of stuff to fix, which is why I think you saw me a little more animated today about the Marvel vs. Capcom thing, because I am porting a game right now, and I know, and I can watch the fact that certain tools won't work. And these things are realities when you're using a framework and trying to port it to a new platform that it wasn't designed for. And so some things aren't going to work. And if the technical debt is too high, it may just not be worth it to do that thing. And I'm literally dealing with that right now. Right? We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Right? Absolutely. I developed the game in XNA, and Mono Game is an open source version of that, but there are still things that don't work. And I have to figure it out, and I have to choose what platforms I'm going to put it on. So I get it, and it's just not this big conspiracy or not something. It just is what it is. And this is not to defend Xbox or to apologize for Sony. Some things just are what they are, and they're not like, okay, you're not going to die. But anyway, you can find me working on that. And most importantly, in October, you can find me at New York Comic Con at booth 2039.
Thank you so much for being here, man. It's always great doing these things with you. It always kind of gets the gaming weekend started off right. I'm going to go dig through some more of the Next Fest stuff, if some of those exist. Might play some games, enjoy my weekend. And I appreciate all you fine folks that have been here, enjoying the conversation with us. Please hit us in the DMs. My DMs are always open. For some reason, my DM had been after I think Elon did something. My DMs had closed up, so people weren't able to reach out to me. It is now back to being open. So if you have any tech questions, anything, I know a couple people have been reaching out, asking questions, things like that. Please consider, jump in. Let's have a conversation. You can find me on Discord as well. On Monday night, myself and Mr. John Wolf will be back doing the Gamers Playground, where we will talk more focused about handhelds. He is very, very, very hyped about the ROG LIX. So we're going to talk about that some more. I will be getting my hands on a new handheld.
Stand out.
I'll be getting my hand on a new handheld soon. So you'll see some more excitement from me on that. But until next week, it's been a great conversation. Shout out to the Don Otaku for being here. He was a great member. Always love the stuff he puts out. Please consider following him. Check out all his stuff. I'll put all that stuff in the show notes. Until next week, have a good one. Peace.
Nice to be in orbit.